Social services, the heartbeat of the nation.
This has been a production of the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the heartbeat of the nation, where we move our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
At the 66 Steps, I'm Matea Cunningham. This is ZNS.
It's What's Trending with Jiminita Swain and the Bahama Beauty at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas from Studio A. It all starts right now.
It's Thursday, and while the weekend is in sight, the headlines are still moving fast. From business to the biggest conversations shaping the moment, this is What's Trending. I'm Jiminita Swain, and here's what's ahead. She refused to let age, pressure, or expectations define her journey. Now, she's built a successful beauty brand through hard work, determination, and consistency. Stay with us as we talk about entrepreneurship, perseverance, and finding success on your own timeline. Plus, food, fun, games, and a whole lot of community spirit. The St. Joseph's Parish Bazaar is back. We'll tell you why this weekend's event is one you won't want to miss. And as we wrap up, what if one of the world's most valuable companies isn't selling cars, phones, or apps, but access to space? We're exploring the booming space economy and why it's becoming one of the most valuable industries on Earth. We've got more lined up for you, so stay right there. We'll be right back in just a moment.
And my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. Out together, dancing cheek to cheek.
I'm Jordan, by the way. Tom.
At Marco's, we make it better. Better ingredients, better flavors, better quality. A signature sauce that families have always counted on. We are not only serving your family, but our families too. 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas with center squares or cheesy bread for just $29.95. When you want pizza you can trust, choose Marco's. Your family deserves the best. Marco's Pizza, crafted with heart and proudly shared with love.
What's trending in business? Who's making major money moves? And how's it shaping your future? This is Economics, your front row seat to the biggest stories in business, innovation, and finance. Powered by the Sand Dollar, the digital currency of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. It's fast, secure, Bahamian. We're breaking down the numbers, the news, and what it means to you. Tune in every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the trends, the insights, and the stories that matter. Get informed, get inspired, get in the mix with Economics. That success has a timeline, that by a certain age, everything should already be figured out. But for many people, life doesn't move on a schedule. Success doesn't always come early. It comes through detours, discipline, and the decision to show up every day, even when it's not easy or immediate. Leandra Johnson, known as Boxer, is the founder of Knockout Beauty, a growing beauty brand built on consistency, hard work, and a loyal client base. She's also a wife, mother, athlete, and entrepreneur who is building her business while juggling multiple roles. Leandra, welcome to What's Trending.
Thank you for having me.
It's so great to have you here with us today. So tell us, Leandra, who is Leandra Johnson and what is Knockout Beauty all about?
So Leandra Johnson is a little bit of my intro that you said so lovely, but can you say that one more time?
Yeah, what is it all about? Who are you?
Well, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm an entrepreneur. And I just like to express myself on a content stage. I have a lot of hats. I juggle a lot of hats. So, yeah, that's who I am.
You have a lot going on. So
Yeah.
what inspired you to start your business in the first place?
Actually, it was my mom. So, like I said, I have an athletic background. My dad was my coach my whole life. And after taking me to salons, we would have workouts on the weekend. And we would go to the beach. So, mixing getting your hair done on a Friday and then going to the beach on a Saturday was not a good idea. So that resulted in me doing my hair myself from the 4th grade, and I got an interest in hair really at the 6th grade, yeah.
Wow, so you've been doing this a
very long
while,
time, yeah.
wow. So when you began, were you clear on your direction? Because that's really early, 4th, 6th grade,
No.
or was it more like a learning process to say, okay, this is something I'm gonna stick with?
Honestly, it was because I love doing my own hair, and people would always ask me, who did your hair? And I would be like, me. And they're like, could you do mine? I'm like, sure.
Why not,
And yeah, so by the 7th grade, I started doing my classmates' hair, and they was paying me, and it just kept going and kept going and kept going. So, and then I also knew that it would have been a thing. I went to boarding school. And the same thing happened again. The girls at boarding school started asking me to do their sew-ins because I would have a sew-in and I would do it myself. And same thing when I went to college. So, yep, it just was a rippling effect.
Wow. So what were those early days like when you decided to go with Knockout Beauty? It doesn't sound like you had any difficulty trying to get clients, but talk to us a little bit about when you finally said, okay, I'm gonna make this my official business.
Okay, official business, I would say, would be around boarding school, because after I saw that the styles that I were doing were a big hit, I said, okay, I could actually do that. And then coming home on breaks, taking clients, also inspired me, and what really got me going to say that, hey, this could be an actual thing was when I got my first booking in Abaco to do a wedding, and I was 18.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of pressure.
I had to ask my mom for permission to go.
That too.
Yes.
So the name Boxer stands out. Where did it come from and what does it represent today?
Okay, so it came from high school. I was always a tough girl, always an athletic girl. So it kind of stemmed from there with the sports, tied in with the sports. But the name Boxer has evolved not only from sports, but just my drive, my dedication to everything that I put my mind to. And especially with the hair industry, like, it doesn't matter what comes my way, I'm going to figure it out. And that's that athletic background, just that fighter in me that keeps me going, keeps me pushing.
So would you say that at every point you realized that hard work would be that element to keep things paying off for you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And like I said, the sports aspect, you know, you have to be responsible, you gotta go to practices, you have drills, and so all of that discipline definitely helped in terms of rolling over to being an entrepreneur.
Well, so getting into that, you, as we discussed, you wear a lot of different roles. You talked about entrepreneur, mother, wife, athlete. What does that look like in reality on a day-to-day?
In reality, it isn't as chaotic as I thought it would have been, but after going to college, I did a lot. So I was a 4-sport athlete while doing hair, running my business, while taking over 20 credit hours and keeping over a 3-point GPA. So I was quite used to balancing and time management from that. But adding on the motherhood to that has definitely been a challenge, but I was able to make it work.
I see that. So looking back, what would you say is the biggest lesson entrepreneurship has taught you? And what would you say to someone who is, or maybe feeling like they're starting out too late?
I don't think that there's anything that you can't do. Starting out too late is just something that we make up in our own head. Because a lot of people who are successful, they started off in their 30s, 40s. So honestly, it isn't a timeline. We just kind of create that timeline on ourselves. And I think that we should just get rid of the timeline, focus on what you want to do, always put God first, and it's going to flourish.
And make it happen.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, Leandra, for sharing your journey with us today. Obviously, your story is proof that, as you said, it's never too late to make it happen. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back, a community favorite is making its return, and we'll tell you why this is one event you'll want on your social calendar. Stay with us.
Isn't that nice? Wait, you missed it? Ah, you haven't been on the website. Here's how TDC can help you. Whether you're turning your home into a vacation rental, pitching a business idea, or growing what you've already started, the TDC is here to help. Visit tdcbahamas.com for every conversation, event, grant, and opportunity happening near you. Tourism is all of our business, and the TDC is here to support yours.
Behind every strong economy is a bold entrepreneur, and we're here to support them, island by island. On Cat Island, we've helped 17 entrepreneurs turn their dreams into thriving businesses. Through over $360,000 in approved funding, the SBDC is strengthening Cat Island's economy by investing in its leading sectors: agriculture, fuel, and fishing. No matter the island, every business we support strengthens the economy. Starting with yours. SBDC Bahamas.
What's trending in business? Who's making major money moves? And how's it shaping your future? This is Economics, your front row seat to the biggest stories in business, innovation, and finance. Powered by the Sand Dollar, the digital currency of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. It's fast, secure, Bahamian. We're breaking down the numbers, the news, and what it means to you. Tune in every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the trends, the insights, and the stories that matter. Get informed, get inspired, get in the mix with Economics. It's that time of year again when the community comes together for one of its most loved family traditions. The annual St. Joseph's Parish Bazaar is happening this weekend, promising an evening full of great food, live entertainment, family activities, and community spirit. Joining us now to tell us everything we need to know are Marthinese Bullard and Kenson Tinker, members of the Bazaar Planning Committee. Welcome to What's Trending.
Thank you.
It's great to have both of you here with us this evening. Yeah. So Marthinese, let's start with you. Tell us the basics. What can you tell us about this year's St. Joseph's Parish Bazaar? Where and when is the event taking place?
Like you said, we're making a comeback, and this is going to be grand. It's on Saturday, this Saturday, and it will be at our church grounds on Boyd Road. If you know where Dirty's is on Boyd Road, then you know where St. Joseph's Church is. And it starts at 12, and it ends around 10, 10:30, around there. And it's something for the whole family, so we want you to be present.
Sounds like a lot of fun. So for someone who's never been before, paint the picture for us. What's going to be happening from the first walk through the gates?
Once you walk through the gates, you'll be excited about all the stalls you'll see. For starters, we have a whole lot of stalls, from food, entertainment, live entertainment, a game trailer. You would see animals, zoozomas, animals all over the grounds. There'll be something for everybody.
Sounds like a lot is going to be happening. So, Kenton, let's bring you into the discussion. Every year, it seems like the bazaar is getting bigger, it's growing. So what's new or different about this year's bazaar that people should look out for?
Well, piggybacking on some of what Marnice just said, we have some attractions that, well, I haven't seen it at other bazaars or other fairs. One of them being the Beyond Gaming 242.
Okay.
Which is that big gaming trailer. It has 4K, like about 14 screens, all types of video games from PlayStation 5s to Switches to Nintendo. And the thing is, the games that they have are all that what all the kids like. You got the Robloxes, you got the GTAs, of course, for the older group. And it's just a wonderful gaming experience. So you can keep them
locked into that gaming experience.
Yes, and they have them set up inside and outside. Always worth of fun. Okay. And at a reasonable price as well.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Now, we know food is always a highlight. So tell us, what are some of the must-try items or refreshments at this year's event?
Well, you know, any gaming event, conch fritters. We got them conch fritters. We don't just have one.
It better be conch.
We have 4 conch fritter stalls to ensure that everybody has their full complement of conch fritters and have it on time. Not where you got to wait an hour or 2 hours to get your conch fritters.
No, everything can be rolling in.
Yeah, man,
you know them lines is getting long fast.
Top and eat. That's how we doing it.
Right.
So you got conch fritters. We got fish and pancake. You know, the panny cake. Sorry.
Get it right.
All right, get it right. Panny cake. We got
roasted corn.
We got roasted corn as well, which is being roasted by our soup kitchen. We have daiquiris. We have
the jerk pit.
The jerk pit. We have home cookery, which would be the normal traditional Bahamian meals as well, and that's being covered by our friends that own the TNC restaurant. All right. So what I like to say at this point is that our motto as a church is that we are a Catholic community that's called the love, witness, evangelize, and serve. So with that being the core of what we are, this isn't just an event to make money or to bring funds in. It's an outreach.
It's an outreach.
To bring and call in the community. And this is what we do. We interact and we engage.
And have a great time.
The entire community. Fort Charlotte, Baintown, Chippenham, that's us.
Now, Martinice, I know you were excited to tell me about this all evening. So we know entertainment is going to bring the energy. So who is performing and what are some of the activities planned for the evening?
Some of our performers, we have the world-renowned Defense Force Pop Band.
Okay.
They will be present. Then we have C.R. Walker Pop Band. Do you need enough? So we also have Barabbas will close out the night with the John Canoe, and then we have a dog show. I don't think you've ever seen a dog show at a bazaar, and we have a dog show also. So that's just some of what you will see in terms of entertainment. In terms of what you can do, like Kenton said, we have the trailer, the Beyond Gaming trailer. Then we have the Zoo Zoomers, the animals, and they are for adults and children alike. And so we also have the bouncing castle. We have the
bingo. Listen, let me say, the bingo isn't just like toaster or oven mitt. We got prizes, all right? Real prizes. Then, of course, there's the raffle, but
we can get into that. I guess I was going to say, it can't be an event and you ain't got no bingo now.
Yeah, no,
but anyway, so beyond the fun, how does the bazaar support the mission and work of St. Joseph's?
Well, as Kenton said earlier, we are called to love, serve, witness, and evangelize. And in doing that, the bazaar allows us to keep what we have every Saturday alive and well in the community of Fort Charlotte and Baintown, what is called our soup kitchen. That way we reach out to the community, we feed the poor. Whether you're poor or homeless, we feed you. You can come at our rectory at any point in time looking for a meal and you will be fed. And so this is just one of the big ways that we are able to keep this going in our community.
So again, so we could be circling back to this bingo you were telling us about a few minutes ago. So talk to us about that and some of the other big prizes that are on top, because obviously there's a raffle too.
Yes, there is.
All right, so tell us about it.
So, okay, the bingo, that's the small side, you know. Even though there's some awesome prizes.
You say some big prizes?
Yeah, we got
prizes if you want
flat screens to phones to like everything, something for everybody.
But the big prizes?
But the big prizes would be the raffle prizes.
Okay.
Now the raffle, what I'd say is we have about 10 prizes, but these are 10 awesome prizes. It's like over $30,000 worth of prizes. First prize is a 2026 Jatour X50 SUV. All right. for $5. That's it, $5 a ticket.
That's it.
Second prize is a dirt bike, Yamaha dirt bike. Okay, for the young. So we got to get some for the young and the young at heart. Third prize is a cruise for two. Fourth prize is a trip for two.
And then the
a trip for two to Fort Lauderdale. And then we have bundles, gift certificate bundles, ranging from $500 down to $200. Total of $5,000 in gift certificates. And guess what we're going to pay you late? That's $500, $300, $200. We got your water, $500, $300, $200. You got phone. You want to buy your phone? $500 for that. Let's say that, $5. Can't beat that, right? A full buck is $50, and you get 11 tickets, so you get a free one.
I mean, you'll plan everything out.
Yeah.
So, Kenson, tell me, why are events like this so important for bringing the family and the wider community together?
I know you're going to get that in this, but we are a community-based church. Okay, so whether it's internal, it internally brings us together as a church family. It also brings us together as a wider community. So having events like this, yes, it's a fundraiser, but it's beyond that. What it is that you will be having a good time for a good cause.
Yes.
And it's something that where we don't just use the funds internally. We utilize them on outreach ministries within the community. As he said, the soup kitchen. It's a lot of initiatives that we utilize it on.
I like that. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And so finally, this is a question for both of you, but we're going to start with Martinez. For anyone still deciding why should they not miss this year's bazaar, you tell me why. You look in the camera and tell them why they need to be there.
You want to be there simply because it's an event for the entire family. For your children, for your adults, your seniors, bring them out. St. Joseph Church caters to the entire family. So you don't want to miss this. There's something there for everyone.
Now, what about you, Kenson? You know, you was talking about them Kongi Kong friend and all these prizes.
I was just going to say, you don't want to be the one to hear about this bazaar on Monday. You'll be hurting. You'll be missing them Kong fritters. You might have been driving away on a new G4, you know. So I'll tell you this. You don't want to be the one to hear about it. Be the one there to enjoy it.
That makes a lot of sense. You won't get the story.
No, you won't get it afterwards.
Get the first-hand information.
With them pancake and fish in your mouth.
Pancake.
Pancake, sorry. Pancake.
Pancake, which you all be selling.
No, pancake. With the oil, with the Earl. With the Earl, not no griddle.
Not early, though.
No.
Just the Earl to cook them in. No, pancake and pancake, it's a difference. You can't flat them. You can't fry them flat.
I know it's a difference.
Right.
I will make sure you telling the people.
No, pancake, all right? Pancake.
Martinez, Kenson, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a preview of what's to come at this weekend's bazaar. Thank you again for joining us, and all the best at your festivities this weekend.
We appreciate it.
Well, when we come back, we explore the business behind the rockets and why one company could be changing the world it connects. Stay with us.
If you would like to be a part of What's Trending, DM us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS.
And my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. Out together, dancing cheek to cheek.
I'm Jordan, by the way. Tom.
So how's your preparation going? By now, you should be completing home repairs since the last storm, updating and replenishing your emergency kit, and paying closer attention to the ZNS networks for earlier than normal developments in the tropics and general storm tracking. Hurricanes don't wait. Why should you? This season, be weather smart, weather safe.
Economics, presented by Sand Dollar, the digital Bahamian dollar. For years, Bahamians have looked skyward as SpaceX rockets streaked across our region on their way to space. Now, the company behind those launches may be preparing for one of the biggest stock market debuts in history. And while that may sound like a story for Wall Street, experts say it's really a story about where the global economy is heading next. We take a look in this week's Economics. When most people think of SpaceX, they think of rockets. Big launches, big explosions, and sometimes spectacular landings. But the company's potential public offering isn't making headlines because of rocket science. It's making headlines because investors believe SpaceX could be worth more than many of the world's largest traditional businesses combined. Think about that for a moment. A company that didn't exist a quarter of a century ago could soon be valued higher than many banks, airlines, manufacturers, and industrial giants that have been around for generations. Why? Because SpaceX isn't really in the rocket business. It's in the infrastructure business. Its rockets launch satellites. Those satellites power internet networks. Those networks connect businesses, governments, and communities around the world. In other words, SpaceX isn't just building spacecraft, it's building the digital highways of the future. And that's where the Bahamas comes in. We've already seen launches visible from our shores. We've watched as discussions around satellite technology, connectivity, and innovation increasingly touched our region. The same technologies being developed by companies like SpaceX could influence everything from communications and disaster response to tourism and remote business operations. The company's rise also reflects a much larger shift happening in the global economy. The world's most valuable companies aren't necessarily the ones making the most products anymore. They're the ones controlling platforms, networks, and access. Think Apple. Think Amazon. Think Google. And now, perhaps, SpaceX. So while the possible IPO may generate excitement among investors, the bigger question is this. If the next generation of global wealth is being built in space, digital networks, and technology platforms, where does that leave small nations like the Bahamas? And perhaps more importantly, how do we make sure we're not just watching the future fly overhead? That's been Your Economics.
Every single drop counts, and right now you have the power literally to save a life. The Bamboo Town Urban Renewal Center is teaming up with the Public Hospitals Authority and the Royal Bahamas Police Force for their second annual blood drive. If you are a healthy individual between the ages of 17 and 65, your community needs you to step up. Mark your calendar. It's happening Saturday, June 27th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Bamboo Town Urban Renewal Center. And yes, there's free breakfast and beverages for every single donor. Together, we can make a difference. If you want more details, call ASP Bridget Strapp at 427-0702, Ms. Parkinson at 815-1389, or Sergeant 2987 Elkin Sherman at 802-7273. We're taking a quick break, but there's more ahead when we return.
Hi. Hello? Hey girl, I am Wendy's. I'm trying to go to Essence Fest. Wendy's and Coca-Cola want to take you and your bestie to New Orleans. July 3rd through 5th is Essence Fest, and you could be traveling VIP style.
Roxy?
Tenders?
Tenders.
All you gotta do is upgrade any premium lunch combo 1 through 12 or a salad to a large, like a spicy number 6, add cheese and bacon, or a Dave's Classic, or my personal favorite, Tendies. This will now serve as your final boarding call for Flight 735, service into Essence Fest. Boarding now. Nola! We coming back?
And that's a wrap on another week of What's Trending. Thanks for watching all week long. Follow us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS, and we'll see you back here on Monday at 6 p.m. Until then, have a great weekend, everyone.
Did you know
that if a fire starts in your home, you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape? Keep your family and home safe with these few fire safety preparation and prevention tips. Ensure that your home has working smoke detectors. They will alert you if there is smoke and fire in your home. Install a smoke detector on every level of your home, inside each bedroom and outside each sleeping area. Test smoke detectors every month and change the batteries every 6 months. Home fires can spread rapidly and every second counts. Create an escape plan and practice it with everyone in your home. Make sure everyone can safely escape in less than 2 minutes. Keep escape routes as clutter-free as possible so no one trips or falls on the way out to an emergency. In addition to smoke detectors, fire extinguishers is an important device to have on hand. To use a fire extinguisher, remember the acronym PASS. Pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the handle, and sweep from side to side at the base of the fire. We must all do our parts to ensure that our families and homes are safe in the event a fire occurs. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, the Director of Fire Services, and all officers of the Fire Department, let's work together to help prevent fires, because fire safety is everyone's responsibility, and the life you save may be your own.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Here's a look at stories making news tonight. Grand Bahamas health sector highlighted in the minister's budget contribution. U.S. Ambassador to the Bahamas concluding his Grand Bahama visit. And 5 Abaco men sentenced in U.S. courts this week.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Shalia Roll. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, Health Minister the Honorable Michael Darville announcing new initiatives during the budget debate, from a nationwide review of public hospitals to long-awaited upgrades at the Rand Memorial Hospital and the resumption of work on the Freeport Health Campus. The government says better health care is on the horizon for Bahamians. We have the details in tonight's top story.
Assessments will be made inclusive of budgetary allocations for both the Rand Memorial Hospital and the Princess Margaret Hospital. The work of the task force will take place over a period of no more than 12 weeks and will involve consultation of healthcare professionals at all levels.
During his presentation to the 2026-2027 budget debate, Minister of Health, the Honorable Michael Darville, reflected on the progress made in the healthcare sector under the Progressive Liberal Party's administration, while also detailing plans for the future. Minister Darville acknowledged the concerns of residents regarding long wait times, staff shortages, and the overall quality of care. The Minister of Health also placed a strong focus on Grand Bahama, announcing that renovations to the Accident and Emergency Department at the Rand Memorial Hospital are expected to begin in the coming weeks.
Essential renovations will begin at the Rand Memorial Hospital Accident Emergency, and the morgue facility that went into some challenges because of the manufacture will finally be completed.
In addition to those upgrades, Darville revealed that construction of the Freeport Health Campus is set to resume, saying the project is now back on track after earlier delays.
We are also back on track with the construction of Phase 1 of the Freeport Health Campus, and this year we will complete the tender process for the multi-story tower on that 50-acre site.
Meanwhile, Central Grand Bahama Member of Parliament Frazette Gibson making her inaugural contribution in the House of Assembly today. Gibson began by thanking the people of Central Grand Bahama for once again placing their confidence in her and the Free National Movement. The opposition MP also vowed to hold the government accountable on a number of issues, including what she described as concerns surrounding Grand Bahama's growth and development.
Last term, public battles between the Davis administration and the Freeport regulators, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, made headlines and, more seriously, made Freeport a seemingly hostile environment for new and existing investment. Stakeholders insisted then and continue to insist that what Freeport needs for economic rebound and revitalization is collaboration between the government and the GBPA.
Well, Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxey, responded to those remarks, defending the government's record and pointing to the significant level of investments attracted to the island.
The government of the Bahamas has been involved in $3.5 billion in investments on Grand Bahama Island. And I think that tells the story right there. We have made things happen on Grand Bahama Island. Thank you, Prime Minister Davis.
The Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco delivering his inaugural contribution to the 2026-2027 budget debate, outlining government projects while proposing a number of solutions aimed at supporting Abaco's growth and development. The Member of Parliament also highlighted the resilience of Abaconians and the progress made since Hurricane Dorian. Matthew Martin Burrow has more in this report.
During his budget debate contribution, Central and South Abaco MP and Parliamentary Secretary for Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs, Bradley Fox Jr., highlighting key community concerns, including the need for local BTVI trade training, improved healthcare services, and continued tourism development, noting that infrastructure improvements directly benefit the tourism sector.
Nearly $1 in every 3 that moves through our national economy traces back to a visitor who has arrived by air or by sea. That is the industry that pays for our schools, our clinics, our roads, and our public services. And nowhere is that more true than in Abaco, where tourism is not a sector, it is the economy. Every dock we repair, every airport we maintain, every road we pave is an investment in keeping that engine running.
The Central and South Abaco MP cited the Bahamas Investment Authority's Island Investment Brief, noting that the island has attracted more than $3 billion in investments since 2021.
Madam Speaker, I've also laid out $3.65 billion in committed private capital because I want this House to understand what is at stake when we debate the public infrastructure budget for Abaco. Private capital does not operate in a vacuum.
MP Fox highlighted the resilience of Abaco residents as they continue to rebuild and recover in the years following Hurricane Dorian. During his contribution, he reflected on the progress made across the island, commending the determination of Abaconians and outlining the work that has taken place to support the community's recovery and development.
I want history to record that after the celebrations ended, we got to work. After the barriers were broken, we delivered. That after the speeches were made, roads were paved, docks were repaired, clinics were built, young people were trained, families were supported, and lives were genuinely and measurably changed for the better.
For the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition, I'm Matthew Martinborough.
Thanks, Matthew. From investment opportunities to the possible return of U.S. pre-clearance, Grand Bahama's future was front and center as U.S. Ambassador to the Bahamas, Herschel Walker, concluded his first official visit to the island Thursday. Walker told our Raven Davis that he is leaving Grand Bahama with a deeper understanding of the island's challenges, opportunities, and most importantly, its people.
It's been an eventful 3 days for U.S. Ambassador to the Bahamas, Herschel Walker, who on Thursday wrapped up his first official visit to Grand Bahama Island. His itinerary, including stops at the Western Atlantic University School of Medicine, the Falcons Boys Club's Champ Center, and Carnival Celebration Key. But beyond the sights and events, Ambassador Walker says what stood out most is the spirit of the Bahamian people.
You know, listening to the people, it gave me an opportunity to go back to Nassau now to talk to my people, and I was impressed because being so close proximity to the United States, and you know, this is a island that had a tough time. I think we know with the hurricane and also with COVID, they've had a tough time, but they're resilient people here. They're very resilient. They love this island, and this got a lot of potential.
During a press conference at Pelican Bay Hotel, Ambassador Walker fielded questions on a number of issues. High on the list, the possible return of U.S. pre-clearance to Grand Bahama.
You know, we want to get the airport done, and that's one thing that's got to happen. We got to worry about the airport. But, you know, that's so important that I do want to get back and talk to my people about what we're going to do, because that is an important thing that I heard from a lot of people.
As the Bahamas and the United States approach more than 5 decades of diplomatic relations since the Bahamas gained independence in 1973, Walker notes that the partnership between the two nations remains strong. And with Grand Bahama continuing its push toward economic recovery and expansion, the ambassador believes there is room for greater U.S. investment on the island. However, he emphasized that continued dialogue, collaboration, and a clear understanding of the island's needs will be key to attracting new opportunities.
They haven't had an ambassador here in the Bahamas in 14 years, and I'm not sure how the communication was, because just coming here, I got to hear things that, you know, I didn't know. I've heard about Freeport. I heard about the Grand Bahama. And I didn't know because I never seen it for myself. I just heard about it. But this been close proximity to the United States, the things that they have here, I'm just shocked that we haven't got the investors that we should have here. So that's the reason I say that I want to work together.
Accompanied by his wife and members of the U.S. Embassy team, Walker says his visit to Grand Bahama exceeded expectations. And now that the official visit is over, he's leaving with a better understanding of the island's needs and a commitment to keep those conversations going. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
House Speaker Patricia DeVoe has dismissed recent discussion surrounding Eric Gardner as frivolous and malicious gossip in Parliament on Tuesday. Her comments came in response to the opposition's call for the government to address allegations involving Jonathan Eric Gardner, a Bahamian who was reportedly involved in a plane crash off the coast of Florida on Election Day and later named in U.S. court filings. Those filings allege Gardner's involvement in a cocaine trafficking operation and refer to an unidentified Bahamian official as Politician 1. The allegations have not been tested in court. Since the issue was raised, tension have escalated in the House of Assembly, with the government seeking to keep the budget debate focused on fiscal matters. When asked for comment, Ambassador Herschel Walker declined to address the allegations directly, saying he would not speculate while the matter remains under review.
It's funny because people say things like that, but, you know, it's an open investigation. And I think people know when there's an open investigation, you just wait and see what's going to happen. I don't know. And you really don't want to say anything about it because you don't want to hurt either side. So that's why I don't really comment on things like that, because being an open investigation, who knows? And we don't want to just put things out there that are just not true.
An Abaco man has been sentenced to 5 years and 4 months in U.S. prison for his role in a drug and human smuggling operation. 52-year-old Ivan Curry pleaded guilty to conspiracy to import controlled substance as part of a plea agreement. U.S. authorities say they intercepted 3 go-fast vessels traveling from the Bahamas to Florida carrying 31 Chinese nationals and approximately 168 kilograms of cocaine. Court documents show Curry admitted he knew the vessel he captained was transporting both drugs and undocumented migrants. His co-accused Malik Delancey was sentenced to 4 years and 3 months in prison, while Tishon Curry received 3 years and 7 months. The remaining defendants are expected to be sentenced at a later date.
And still to come.
An Abaco actress takes on Tyler Perry Studios. That story, sports, and more when we come back.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Dolly Madison.
Dad deserves the best, and Third Dimension has the savings. Friday, June 12th and Saturday, June 13th, save 20% on hardware, plumbing, electrical, paint, and hand tools. Third Dimension, Yellow Pine Street. It's all about fathers at Esquire Men's Freeport with 15 to 20% off store-wide and selected items at 50% off from June 1st to June 20th. Find the perfect gift for dad at Esquire, the best of menswear. Call them at 352-8816. Calling all musicians, songwriters, and producers from Grand Bahama, enter the Welcoming Home Grand Bahama Song Competition for a chance to win up to $5,000. The theme is My Island, My Home. Deadline midnight, June 29th. Go to welcominghomegb.com for competition guidelines. KMW Battery and Tires now offers oil changes starting at just $35. Fast, reliable service you can trust. Open Monday to Friday, 8 to 6, Saturdays, 8 to 4. Call 351-2595 today.
Save More Drugs. We got you. From cosmetics to prosthetics, what you need for your family, the brands you're looking for, the quality you expect, the prices you need and deserve. Feel the love. Save more at Save More Drugs.
Have the following supplies on hand at the start of the hurricane season. A minimum 3-day supply of water, which provides 1 gallon of water per person per day. Minimum 3-day supply of non-perishable food items. Flashlights and extra batteries. A battery-powered radio to receive broadcasts that will keep you informed of the storm. A first aid kit. A 7-day supply of any prescribed medication. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. From a small town dream to a role in a major television franchise, one Bahamian actress is proving that determination, preparation, and faith can open doors to extraordinary opportunities. Now making her mark on the international stage, she is sharing her journey and the lessons learned along the way. Our Sherelle Dames has her story.
Lights, camera, action. The words that Cooperstown, Abaco native Kristen McIntosh heard just before her breakout role on Tyler Perry's hit show The Oval. And though breaking into the international entertainment industry is not easy, Kristen is proving that with determination and talent, the right opportunities can open the doors of your dreams.
I'm so happy and grateful to be a part of the Tyler Perry universe. As you would know, there's endless opportunities that comes with just the one acceptance of me. And in this industry, it's all about networking. It's just about getting into those rooms and allowing people to know that you're serious about your craft, let them know, your character types, and hear some of the insight that they give.
Residing in Atlanta, Georgia, she continues to grow in her craft, but McIntosh says her heart holds a special place for her people in the Bahamas. She's now focused on helping others who desire to follow a similar path in the entertainment industry.
I have collabed with a few of my Tyler Perry, I would say, universe colleagues that are, I would say they are really, really good characters on the shows that they're on. And we're going to provide a masterclass coming in August. What we will do is basically hold the hands of individuals that are interested in this by starting off with the foundation.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis also placed the spotlight on the creative sector at the 242 Influencers and Creators Conference held in March of 2026. He described influencers and creators as part of a new Bahamian economy, while Minister for Grand Bahama Honourable Ginger Moxey also in a previous interview expressed for those in the creative industry and creative economy, there's much on the horizon. McIntosh, agreeing with the effort, says that the investment in Bahamian talent can create greater opportunities.
I think that this initiative is great. I think it's a start. It may seem as though it is taking away from the artists in a sense, but I will tell you this as someone that has been, a part of union productions here in the U.S., this is how it starts. This is how change starts.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Sherelle Dames.
Members of the Boys Brigade were hard at work rolling up their sleeves for their annual beach cleanup exercise at Williamstown Beach. Armed with garbage bags and commitment to community service, the young men spent the day removing litter from the sand and shoreline. Organizers say the initiative is designed not only to help protect the environment, but also to instill discipline, responsibility, and a new sense of civic pride in the next generation.
Do is ensure that sustainable practices are an everyday part of our life, and that includes beach cleanups like the one we're doing here today, as we are endeavoring to protect and preserve our beaches and our coastlines and our oceans.
When it's on the water, it looks like a jellyfish. So the fish eat it, and now we have a lot of microplastics in the fish, which we ingest.
A lesson that certainly resonated with this member, who spoke about the importance of the initiative and the valuable life lesson he has learned through the participating in the program. By the end of the cleanup effort, the group had collected several bags of plastic, glass, and other debris from the beach and surrounding shoreline, helping to keep the area cleaner and safer for residents and visitors alike.
You have to keep it clean if you want to continue to see the economy growing.
To keep it clean, because one day you would have children and you would like them to have the same luxury as us.
We should keep it clean because it goes to fishes and then we eat the fishes.
We salute our Facebook friend of the day, Lyric Smith. Thank you so much for your support. That's a look at stories making news. Shane, what's happening in sports?
Listen, some baseball players had the opportunity of a lifetime playing at a major baseball tournament recently, and their confidence is through the roof.
That's great. Well, that comes your way next. Stay with us.
See news in the making? Call us at 352-9713 or 359-5167, or you can email us at zns3news@gmail.com.
Grand Bahama, get ready for the annual Welcoming Home Grand Expo presented by the Ministry for Grand Bahama. July 1st through 10th, experience music, culture, business, sports, and unforgettable celebrations all across the island. Mark your calendars and go to welcominghomegb.com for more information.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
Save more drugs, from cosmetics to prosthetics. What you need for your family, the brands you're looking for, the quality you expect, vitamins you need, and prescriptions you came for. Feel the love. Save more at Save More Drugs.
So if you're thinking about it, just do it. You know, I was battling over whether I should do it or not. And I said, you know what, let me just make the decision and come out and do it. Like they say, you know, commit to be fit. And so I came out, and when I saw the results, and I saw the improvements, I was just motivated to keep going and going and going. So I'm looking forward to the next boot camp. Great. So I'll be there. So if anybody's thinking about it, you know, if it wasn't good, I wouldn't come to the next one. So I will be at the next one. So I encourage you to come too.
Welcome to the ZNS Total Sports Game, everyone. I'm Shane Stubbs. Members of the Bahamas Champs baseball team are holding their heads high following a silver medal finish at the Pony 14U Caribbean and Latin American Baseball Championships. Jameis Bethel and Colin Bain say the experience and the team's performance are reasons to be proud.
We got to meet different countries. Everybody on the team got a chance to do their role for the team, and I feel like we did really great. Puerto Rico was a great team, and they just came with the win.
We're also a great team, too, but they just won that battle.
Bahamas Champs lost to Puerto Rico 10-0 in the gold medal contest, but each player played big roles throughout the duration of the tournament, serving as a confidence boost, especially with the Andre Rogers National Baseball Tournament on the horizon.
Prepared me good, because we played a lot of hard teams, and we came up short, second, so yeah.
The mound was very close. I feel like it could prepare me to play against other pitchers. They could be coming slower.
And moments like this is why chaperone Pramel Sanders believes why the community should keep an eye out to support young players.
Assist in any way possible. If they're on the corner or if they write their letters or have sponsorship, to always support the young men.
Meanwhile, the 49th annual Charles Softly Robins basketball camp tips off June 15th to the 26th back home at the Susan J. Wallace Center.
First 50 to 100 kids will receive a free T-shirt. We never charge. And then we just get right into basic basketball. That's what we're all about. From 7 to 17. It's going to be nice. It's always, we always have 50 to 100. We don't want 100, but we'll take as much as we can. As long as we could keep these young kids off the street, that's what the camp is all about.
Registration is free, so get your kids out the house and into the game. And over in Eugene, Oregon, Keyshawn Strong cemented himself as a top javelin thrower in the nation for Nebraska. His toss of 80.65 meters at the NCAA National Track and Field Outdoor Championships landed the Bahamian national record holder a silver medal. Later this evening, 4 Bahamians will be in action. Texas A&M's LaCarthur Cooper, Texas Tech's Colonique Farrington, the Florida Gators' Quincy Penn, and Texas's Chavonia Valcourt will compete in the women's 400 prelims. The top 2 in each heat and the next 3 best times will advance to the semifinals. And that's my time, everyone. Your local forecast is next. I'm Shane Stubbs. Stay confident in God's plan.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
At Save More Drugs, we got you. We got what you want. We got what you need. We got what you came for. The quality you expect. The prices you need and deserve. Save more at Save More Drugs.
Hi, my name is Tamia Smith. This is Euphoria Bahamas. We are located at number 3 Python Plaza, West Mall Drive. We are the ultimate beauty experience for women. We carry makeup, skincare products. We cater to women and also teenage girls, so we have something for everyone. We carry a range from high-end brands to affordable brands. We also carry brands like NARS, Maybelline, Fenty, CeraVe, The Ordinary, Good Molecules, Anua, Bubble. We carry skincare kits, makeup kits. We offer also consultation services. So if you need color matching or you need consultation to find out what products would be best for you, we can also assist with that. You can reach us on all of our social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook, Euphoria Bahamas, and TikTok at Euphoria Bahamas 242, 827-8186.
Proper sleep is critical to hormone balance. Also, bonus tip, if you're a lady who suffers from PCOS, now known as PMOS, you can try a supplement such as Myo and Inositol, which has been clinically proven to help balance hormones in women, specifically with PCOS. Support your women's health journey the right way. Stop by any Fitness Connection location. We have everything for your overall health needs. Or shop online at shopfitnessconnection.com. See you soon.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
That's going to do it for us here in the North. I'm Shalia Rule.
And I'm Shane Stubbs.
Here's a live look at the Bahamas tonight, coming your way next.
Going. By now, you should be completing home repairs since the last storm, updating and replenishing your emergency kit, and paying closer attention to the ZNS networks for earlier than normal developments in the tropics and general storm tracking. Hurricanes don't wait. Why should you? This season, be weather smart, weather safe.
Did you know that if a fire starts in your home, you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape? Keep your family and home safe with these few fire safety preparation and prevention tips. Ensure that your home has working smoke detectors. They will alert you if there is smoke and fire in your home. Install a smoke detector on every level of your home, inside each bedroom and outside each sleeping area. Test smoke detectors every month and change the batteries every 6 months. Home fires can spread rapidly, and every second counts. Create an escape plan and practice it with everyone in your home. Make sure everyone can safely escape in less than 2 minutes. Keep escape routes as clutter-free as possible so no one trips or falls on the way out during an emergency. In addition to smoke detectors, fire extinguishers is an important device to have on hand. To use a fire extinguisher, remember the acronym PASS. Pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the handle, and sweep from side to side at the base of the fire. We must all do our parts to ensure that our families and homes are safe in the event a fire occurs. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, the Director of Fire Services, and all officers of the Fire Department, let's work together to help prevent fires, because fire safety is everyone's responsibility, and the life you save may be your own.
So how's your preparation going? By now, you should be completing home repairs since the last storm, updating and replenishing your emergency kit, and paying closer attention to the ZNS networks for earlier than normal developments in the tropics and general storm tracking. Hurricanes don't wait. Why should you? This season, be weather smart, weather safe.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the Ministry of Works opens itself to accountability as it embarks on its most ambitious digitization process. Plus, legislative reform, expanded digital systems, and a new task force on tap to modernize the Ministry of Health. And life's a breeze. The long-awaited return of a non-stop link-up between Tampa and the Bahamas. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. The country embarking on one of its most ambitious infrastructure drives in recent years. The government's pledging major investment in infrastructure as part of its plan to strengthen communities and fuel economic growth across the archipelago. Officials say the projects are designed to improve connectivity, enhance resilience, and ensure development reaches every island. The whole idea is to propel these initiatives through improved technology, including digitization. Corvell Pfeiffer has the story. Corvell?
In 2026, Makushla infrastructure is no longer fiscal. The future of government is also now digital. Digitization, Minister Clay Sweeting says, can move the ministry and the government in the direction they need to head. Now, to many, it may be hard to believe, but for decades, many government processes relied on paper files, manual approvals, fragmented records, and systems that didn't communicate with one another. Even now, obtaining a building permit might require multiple visits. Project information could mean several different locations. Critical records are still often stored and filed in cabinets, and many times plans are lost. But Works and Family Islands Affairs Minister, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, says those days are coming to an end.
The Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs has embarked upon the most ambitious digital transformation program in its history.
Lending his voice to the budget debate in Parliament, Minister Sweeting, who has maintained the same ministerial portfolio, outlined a 3-year comprehensive strategy. One, he says, is designed to modernize operations, improve transparency, and strengthen accountability, while also delivering faster services to the public.
This is not digitization for the sake of digitization. This is government working smarter, responding faster, and becoming more transparent and more accountable to the Bahamian people.
Minister Sweeting says this initiative will mean 13 integrated systems will be rolled out across the ministry, creating one connected ministry operating system. Systems will manage everything, he says, from drainage, asset tracking to permit approvals, project management, contractor payments, citizen reporting, and executive oversight.
Ministry leadership will be able to monitor critical infrastructure operations in real time.
Projects, the minister says, will be tracked from planning to completion, and assets, he adds, managed more efficiently. Reporting live, I'm Corvell Pfeiffer. Back to you, Makushla.
Well, thanks, Corvell. A ministry, meantime, plagued with ongoing challenges, is set to roll out. Our Leah Cooper has the details in this next report.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness set for a major reform. This, according to its State Minister Owen Wells during his maiden budget debate contribution. First move, an in-house legal unit, and this amid growing public concerns over patient satisfaction and staff challenges.
With in-house legal expertise, the ministry will be able to respond more quickly to legal and regulatory issues, reduce delays in contract negotiations, strengthen procurement processes, and ensure that policy and program designs are legally sound from the outset. Faster turnaround on legal advice means projects move forward without costly holdups. Patient protections are implemented more swiftly, and the ministry can proactively manage risk rather than react to it.
On the legislative side, Minister Wells spoke of plans for a Patients' Right Bill, legislation that would create a clear framework for the relationship between patients and healthcare providers.
The legislation will support principles relating to informed consent, confidentiality, access to information, professional conduct, and the respectful treatment of individuals receiving care. This initiative is intended to strengthen confidence in the healthcare system while promoting accountability and mutual understanding. between patients and healthcare professionals.
Should all go as planned, the ministry will also continue working on legislation to address health rights for the elderly.
This legislation will seek to strengthen protections, establish clearer standards, and promote the respect for the dignity and well-being of elderly Bahamians.
Also on tap, a public health operations task force.
The task force will review operational relationships among the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Department of Public Health, the Princess Margaret Hospital, and the Rand Memorial Hospital, the Supplies Management Agency, and other relevant agencies. It will assess workflows, identify bottlenecks and duplications of work, and recommend practical solutions with the goal of creating a better, improved, more coordinated public health care system.
More on the reforms are expected as the budget debate continues. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Leah Cooper.
Well, heat indices possibly reaching the upper 90s this week, leaving Bahamians putting those ACs to the ultimate test. Energy Minister, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, is assuring, though, that Bahamas Power and Light's ready to handle the peak summer demand.
Currently, BPL has 340 megawatts installed capacity on New Providence, which will increase to 385 megawatts at the end of the month. 36 megawatts on Abaco and 24 megawatts on Eleuthero, which will increase to 26.5 megawatts by the end of July. By August, we expect 29 megawatts of capacity on Eleuthero.
Long Island MP Dr. Andre Rollins also having his say on the 2026-2027 proposed budget, a portion of which he dedicated to calling for a mailboat tariff to accommodate a dedicated route for the Southern Island. The F&M MP's comments speak to numerous family islands whose economy relies heavily on mailboat deliveries of groceries, building supplies, and other essential items.
What we need to do is give these mailboat operators the amount of money that they absolutely need to profitably run these enterprises, because they are the lifeblood of these far-flung islands. The point that I make is the mailboat tariff has not been increased in decades. The last time it happened was under former Minister of Transport, Mr. Tennyson Wells, the uncle of the member for St. James.
Well, first time a Michael MP, J. Leo Ferguson, meantime sharing with House members the challenges his 2,500 constituents across 5 islands in the Southern Bahamas face daily that goes beyond just slogans.
Organization is about harnessing our human capital, a home and abroad, and aligning it with a clear development strategy. It means creating unified teams across the Michael diaspora. It means representation and inclusion at the national planning level. So then when the budget is written and decisions are made in Nassau, Michael has that seat at the table. It means supporting and facilitating foreign direct investment that respects our communities.
Coming up, increased options to fly from the Bahamas into Florida. We'll tell you next. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and everybody watching from Nassau. Tonight, we welcome a star. So please join me in welcoming the barbecue rap star, star of the show!
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Andres here, I come in my 2027
God is so good. Island Lock, I thank you. I tell you, I'm going to pray over this and I'm going to drive this all around town and show off and show them what Island Lock does for customers like me. I caught the keys with Island Lock and thank you, Jesus. I caught the keys.
Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
You're looking at a shot of Palmdale Primary off Madeira Street, and that shot courtesy of our drone pilot, Shane Gibson. Thanks, Shane. A boost for the local tourism sector as a new direct air link between Nassau and Florida takes to the skies. Tourism officials and industry stakeholders say the service, operated by a U.S.-based low-cost carrier, fills a decades-long gap in airlift while opening the door to increase visitor arrivals from one of the fastest-growing tourism markets. Fern Carey reports.
The Breeze Airways flight, which touched down in Nassau at the Lynden Pilling International Airport Thursday morning, represents the first jet service between Tampa, Florida and Nassau in more than 20 years. As the 120 passengers on board disembarked and arrived in the airport terminal, they were welcomed with warm applause from aviation and tourism stakeholders, the sound of a goatskin drum and gifts. Minister of Energy, Utilities and Aviation, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, says the new airlift supports a broader goal of improving connectivity to the growing Florida market.
It shows how the country and the economy is growing by the expansions that we're seeing happening with the airlifts and the need for us to continue to look at redevelopment and expansion for our international airport. We are going to start with doing a review and assessment of our regulatory system to make sure that we begin to strengthen it. Also, ways to make sure we're building capacity in our country and that we are making the case for our aviation sector to grow.
Tourism Minister, the Honorable Glenys Hanna-Martin, noted that the new non-stop flight provides a low-cost, high-value travel experience for visitors.
I'm advised that as soon as we were able to announce this flight, the website showed an increase of 45% in interest in this route. So this tells us that we are possibly and hopefully sitting on a mountain of interest coming out of Tampa into New Providence. And we try to say to our people, tourism is about how those who come from another place come and see who we are and what we are, to enjoy the spirit of our people, the beauty of our nation, our incredible culture. This is what tourism is about.
Chief Operating Officer at Tampa International Airport, John Tiliakos, who is also a Bahamian, said the new service marks a proud moment for the country.
I know that Breeze has launched with 2 flights a week. That will grow to 4 flights a week by next month. And hopefully we can convince Breeze to go daily. I'm looking forward to seeing this flight become very successful.
Aviation officials say efforts will continue to expand the country's airlift network. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Meantime, the tourism minister to hold talks with stakeholders in the cruise industry following a number of incidents in that sector, the latest at the Nassau Cruise Port just this past Monday. As we reported, 5 American cruise passengers, 2 men and 3 women, were arrested after a brawl that spilled over at the tourism police station on Woods Rogers Wharf. 4 officers, were injured in the melee. At last report, the Americans were to face charges in connection with the incident.
I was really extremely disappointed what I saw. And so I will be in dialogue with the cruise industry because we've had a couple incidents recently that are major concern. And we want to send a message that all who come here, we come to a place of beauty and peace and order, and that what we offer as a people is just incredible, and we would like all who come to participate and to enjoy. And on the other side, we have an expectation that our own people will understand this important interface, because it endures not just to that one-on-one experience, but to the bigger, wider picture of the prosperity of the Bahamian people.
Well, from the courts this evening, a Bahamian has been sentenced to 27 years in prison over in the United States for the sexual exploitation of a child. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Virginia, 38-year-old Ryan Wayne Johnson was convicted after investigators discovered he sexually abused and exploited an 11-year-old child under his care between May and July of 2025. Authorities say Johnson recorded the abuse on his cell phone. He was arrested after Newport News police responded to a report of suspected child sexual abuse last July. The case was investigated by Homeland Security investigators with assistance from local police as part of the U.S. Department of Justice's Project Safe Childhood initiative. Well, mutual respect, regional cooperation, and historical ties have long marked the relationship between the Bahamas and Cuba. And if Cuban ambassador to the Bahamas, Marcos Sanchez, has his way, that relationship will only strengthen during his tenure.
In the field of education, in the field of health, but also in the resilience of the impact of climate change. We can exchange a lot of knowledge that we have in our country and also in the Bahamian society, because both of us are small islands, small archipelagos that suffer the impact of the climate change. And we can exchange many experiences that we have in order to face this.
In other news tonight, the past 2 years has reportedly seen an increase in bushfires. While the peak season runs from mid-February to May, fire officials say they're becoming more frequent during the hotter summer months of July and August.
During 2025, the fire services responded to 195 bushfire calls, compared to 136 bushfire calls in 2024, representing a notable increase. Additionally, the fire services attended 315 rubbish fire calls in 2025 compared to 252 rubbish fire calls in 2024.
Officer in charge of Fire Services Prevention, Police Corporal Terrence Outens, reminding residents then about the risk bushfires pose.
Long dry weather, high temperatures, strong winds, discarded cigarette butts, fires left unattended, and the burning of rubbish and yard debris. Residents who live near forested or heavily vegetated areas are encouraged to take preventative measures to protect their homes and families. These measures include keeping grass, weeds, and dry vegetation cut and cleared around homes and properties.
Meantime, the Bahamas Department of Meteorology is looking to the future of weather warnings with new technology, new training, and new talent entering the field. But that training is also raising a harder question, whether local preparation and resources are keeping pace with the tools now used in modern forecasting. Lal Maycock tells us more.
Forecasting technology is moving faster with automatic weather stations and digital tools helping meteorologists collect information more quickly. But newly trained meteorologist Devontae Newbold says technology does not remove the need for people who understand what the data means.
Technological advancement in meteorology benefits us greatly in terms of time and, I would say, in some ways, accuracy, because some instruments could accurately read certain things better than we can as humans, like, for example, wind, speed, and direction. But having that background of knowing what to expect from a machine helps out a lot.
But the training also exposed a gap. As Devontae Grant tells it, when the new meteorologists arrived in Barbados, they quickly realized the regional program was using tools, graphs, and plotting techniques they had not fully worked with during their local preparation.
It was a bit shocking to know that when we went over, we thought we would have been fully equipped with all the knowledge that we obtained during our training here. However, when we got there, everything was totally different.
Acting Director Jeffrey Green acknowledges the gap, saying the department will now use with the group experience to strengthen preparation for the next group of trainees.
We will look at the program and we will put in the things that were missing and we will add
things that they learned.
The department is also working to modernize how warnings reach the public. Green says the Common Alerting Program, or CAP program, is being developed to push warnings out more quickly.
The problem with the archipelago of islands is that you have to duplicate everything more than once. So if you're on one island, you could basically have everything just there. With just several islands, you have to actually duplicate what you're doing.
As forecasting technology advances, officials say the next challenge is that every warning reaches every island, every community, and every person in time to act. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lyle Mako.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
At Marco's, we make it better. Better ingredients, better flavors, better quality. A signature sauce that families have always counted on. We are not only serving your family, but our families too. 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas with center squares or cheesy bread for just $29.95. When you want pizza you can trust, choose Marco's. Your family deserves the best. Marco's Pizza, crafted with heart and proudly shared with love.
Tasha, what you saying? Girl, right here, rushing to catch J.S. Johnson. I gotta renew my insurance. Oh, I with JSJ too, but I don't wait in line. I just pay online. Stop it. How you do that?
Just email info@jsjohnson.com and say, sign me up for an online service center. They'll reach out and hook you up. You ain't never have to stand in line again.
Amen to that.
Save time. Pay online. Sign up for J.S. Johnson's online service center today.
Insurance, peace of mind. Hi. Hello? Hey, girl. I at Wendy's. I'm trying to go to Essence Fest. Wendy's and Coca-Cola want to take you and your bestie to New Orleans. July 3rd through 5th is Essence Fest, and you could be traveling VIP style. Roxy? Tenders? Tenders. All you gotta do is upgrade any premium lunch combo 1 through 12 or a salad to a large, like a spicy number 6, add cheese and bacon, or a Dave's Classic, or my personal favorite, Tendies. This will now serve as your final boarding call for Flight 735, service into Essence Fest. Boarding now. Nola! We coming back?
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
BTC continues to reinvent itself with a new product offering. To tell us more about it is our Lloyd Allen. Lloyd?
Well, of course, good evening, Makosha, and good evening, Bahamas. An exciting evening here at Fusion Superplex, where BTC moments ago launched its newest suite of services, all attached to those prepaid lines. Now, they've conveniently named them Flex, Plus, and Ultra, all offering very unique services. And here to share a bit more about what they exactly do is company CEO Samir Bhatti.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for being here. BTC has indeed gone unlimited. We're excited to announce these 3 new plans, Flex, Plus, and Ultra. We listen to our customers, and we think we have the right combination of plans to meet their needs. Each of these plans has some level of unlimited capabilities, unlimited local calling, unlimited calls to USA, Canada, and flow markets, unlimited WhatsApp, unlimited Facebook in all of our plans. Additionally, we met the needs from a social media perspective. Some customers want unlimited TikTok. Some customers want unlimited YouTube, and that's where the Plus plan fits. And if you want to go all the way unlimited, that's what Ultra has for you. You don't have to care about it. And I think what's really exciting is when we listen to our customers, what they said they want flexibility. They want control. They don't want any stress. They don't want any bill shock. and they want a path to unlimited. So even if, for example, you want to enable your hotspot capabilities, which you will have in each of these plans, you have the ability to control the usage on that so that it doesn't eat into your entire data allotment. So really exciting ways to manage your data and get the most value out of the plans you subscribe to. We're really excited for these.
And then finally, of course, so many customers here tonight to support this launch, many giveaways as well. How excited are you as company CEO to see so many people support BTC?
I'm excited for our customers, for the value they will get. I'm excited for Team BTC. Behind me, you hear the cheers. You can see and feel the excitement. I invite our customers, I invite those who are interested in the BTC brand, visit our store at the Mall at Marathon, see the changes we've made, and I invite you to go unlimited.
Well, of course, I'm hoping to get one of those plans as well, but we'll talk more about that. Reporting here from Fusion Superplex for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, some good news there, Lloyd, and I'm challenging Royston and Marlena tonight to beat that deal. What do you have for us?
To beat the deal. What's the deal again? I'll tell you what the deal is. It's Friday Junior, as Diane says.
Right.
We just had the Carnival Road March. I'm thinking the popular carnival song, All Is Rum, for good reason. A Bahamian rum is getting international recognition that you don't want to miss.
Oh, yeah. And then also today's International Day of Play. You know, so many of us haven't played outside in such a long time, but we're talking a bit about how we've become more sedentary as we get older and why you need to keep it moving so you can stay mobile as you get a bit older. So we're going to learn about that. And of course, the push-a-thon is coming up. So stay with us. It all works together.
There you go. I like to move it.
Well, give up. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight. The National Report continues after this.
The tastiest thing about soccer is sharing it with the whole team, just like the new Ready for Soccer. A delicious lineup of 16 slices and 4 flavor sections. Perfect for sharing from start to finish, even beyond the 90 minutes. Get your team together and dig in, only at Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
Isn't that nice? Wait, you missed it? Ah, you haven't been on the website. Here's how TDC can help you. Whether you're turning your home into a vacation rental, pitching a business idea, or growing what you've already started, the TDC is here to help. Visit tdcbahamas.com for every conversation, event, grant, and opportunity happening near you. Tourism is all of our business, and the TDC is here to support yours.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
J.S. Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind. But stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
We're learning, even playing, we're having lots of fun. We're working with each other until the day is done.
In his first official visit to an educational institution since assuming the portfolio, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education, Science and Technology, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, met with University of the Bahamas leaders to discuss the institution's strategic future and strengthen government collaboration.
I believe collectively, with the support of me as minister, the support of the government, support of yourselves, I believe we can truly achieve the vision that you've set and the contributions that you have put in. Hopefully we can see them all come to fruition in a manner that you desire.
UB President Dr. Robert Blaine welcomed the meeting with ministry officials and praised the Board of Trustees for their work.
Having an alumnus as the minister is one of the best things that we could possibly ask for, and we're grateful. I'm grateful for that. I want to join the chair in saying that I have an incredible team. These are the people that do the real work. They do the heavy lifting here, and they make opportunities for our students that are just beyond imagination.
Chairperson of the board, Allison Maynard Gibson, expressed her gratitude to DPM Cooper for the timely visit and outlined the university's key priorities.
The board's number one priority is international and national accreditation. We already happily have become a candidate for SAC-COC accreditation. We expect by the end of this year to finish our compliance requirements.
John Lee McIntosh for Air Talk.
Part 2 of our look into the journey of recovered drug and alcohol addicts.
Plus, Bahamas Academy graduates get a special visitor. Those details straight ahead.
Also, a local rum earns a global nod. Stay close for that.
And your Thursday sports report is coming right up.
Bahamas Tonight Access Now starts now.
Good evening, everyone. On this Friday, Junior, I'm Royston Jones.
And I'm Marlena Leonard. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
Welcome indeed. We were talking yesterday about the idea that just about everything in life is a sale or a negotiation, which came up during our interview with author Santina McKinney. It's one of those ideas that stick with you because the more you think about it, the more examples you find in everyday life.
It's true. I mean, right from the moment you wake up, you're basically negotiating with your alarm clock, your to-do list, your family, your friends, even with yourself sometimes. And with a lot of those negotiations, while some of them can be successful, there are a few where you just know that there's no room for compromise.
This is true. I think the goal is finding solutions that leaves everybody feeling good, or at least somewhat good, and trying to find those win-wins when you can. With that said, let's dive right into the news. Yesterday, we brought you the story of a former drug addict and current youth advocate, Dr. Eric Fox. Tonight, we bring you the story of a recovering substance abuser who says his addiction eventually led him down a path of homelessness, consistent hospitalization, and even suicide attempts. Our West Alex Forbes has more.
Dexter Nemo is known by some as the Rat Man, a business owner known for his potent and deadly rat poisons. But years ago, his life looked extremely different, and he himself was exposed to and the victim of a poison of his own choosing. Taking a walk down memory lane, Nemo recalls the 70s being an era of widespread marijuana consumption and the rapid rise of party culture and social drug use like cocaine. Like many during the 70s, Nemo says drug use was normalized for him.
I started using drugs from I was smoking weed from I was 12 to 18. That was in the 70s, 78, 79, and I was 12 to 18, and then, things changed in the 80s, and then other tickety-tock come around. Yeah. And, so that's what destroyed a lot of our lives, the drugs.
For years, drugs and alcohol controlled his life, leading him down a path of homelessness, suicide attempts, hospitalization, and even divorce.
When I end up homeless, I was on the road and only so much you could take. Yeah. So I just, one day, just the scars. I didn't break a bottle and start cutting and biting out and spit it on the road. I spent 3 months in the hospital, tied down. I can't remember much.
At his lowest point, Nemo says he was sleeping where he could. One night, he found himself under someone's kitchen window. He says that was his breaking point. That's when he called the Teen Challenge Executive Director, Dr. Fox. Today, 5 years into recovery, Nemo is turning those experiences into weapons to help other at-risk young men to choose a different path.
I encourage them. Because you don't want to go Fox Hill, man. They put you in the West. You better could fight or you know someone, eh? Put him in here. You let the officer them say, put him in here. You better know someone. Don't go up there. I always encourage them. You're doing good. You look nice. You're in the clocks. You're making money. Tap them up. Give them a tap. Give them a little encouragement. Yeah.
For the Bahamas Tonight Access Now, I'm Alex Forbes.
Thanks so much, Wes. And of course, we're wishing anyone who's going through any similar circumstance all the support and strength that they need to make it through their journey. Meanwhile, Acting General Manager of the Broadcasting Corporation and Bahamas Academy alumna Opal Roach was back on campus today for their graduation ceremony, this time as the featured speaker. With deep personal ties to the institution, Ms. Roach addressed graduates at a moment marking both an ending and a new beginning. Lyle Maycock reports.
It was a song Opal Roach still knew by heart. For the acting general manager of the Broadcast Corporation, returning to Bahamas Academy was not just an invitation to speak. It was a return to a place tied to her family, her faith, and her own story.
Today, this is special for me because this is not just another speaking engagement. This feels like coming home.
Standing before the class of 2026, Roach spoke as an alumni, a former parent, and now a national media leader. But her message was not only about where she stands today, it was about the unexpected turns that helped her get there. Roach told graduates she once saw her future in the classroom until a summer job opened a different door. Years later, that unexpected turn would become part of the message she left with students still figuring out their own path.
Now let me ask you something. Was changing my mind a failure? I don't think so. Was changing direction a mistake? I don't think so. It was growth. Sometimes God changes your plans because he sees something you cannot see. Sometimes the opportunity you didn't ask for becomes the blessing you never expected.
For class secretary Zamar Boy, hearing that from someone who once walked the same school halls made the future feel a little closer.
It gives me inspiration for the future so that in the future that I can be just like her and push forward and have aspirations as great as hers.
Before the ceremony ended, Roach left graduates with a reminder about what lasts beyond any title.
Your character is more important than your title. I will repeat that again. Your character is more important than your title. People will remember your honesty, your kindness, your integrity. Never sacrifice your values for temporary success.
The message landing clear with graduates that success may not follow the plan they expect, but with faith, discipline, and character, they can still leave a mark that lasts. Reporting for the Bahamas tonight, I'm Lyle Maycock.
As always, thank you so much, Lyle. Meanwhile, a Bahamian rum is now listed among the best of them after earning a global nod. John Watling's Paradise Rum has earned 3 major international honors, receiving a gold medal and exceptional 94-point rating from the Beverage Testing Institute in Chicago. It was named by Forbes among the world's best rums, and it earned 2 stars at the 2026 Superior Taste Awards in Brussels. Together, these accolades place the Bahamian-made rum alongside some of the most respected spirits in the world and represent one of the strongest international endorsements ever received by a premium rum produced in the Bahamas. John Watling's Paradise Rum is a blend of 4- and 6-year-old rums matured in Nassau in ex-bourbon barrels before spending 6 months finishing in Oloroso sherry casks. These result in a refined spirit with layered notes of honey, tropical fruit, vanilla, citrus, and oak, culminating in a smooth, elegant finish. These nods further elevate both the brand and the Bahamas within the global premium spirits conversation. Of course, still to come, a retired doctor wants Bahamians to get active, get moving, and live longer.
And Diane Dorsett has your access weather forecast, so stay close.
In the wild, everything is always in front of you. Sauvage Elixir, Dior.
Available at Lorix Duty Free, Bay and Parliament, Old Fort Bay, Marathon Mall and Palmdale.
Step inside a world of adventure with Mandalorian and Grogu at Burger King. See The Mandalorian and Grogu, only in cinemas.
Save today, save tomorrow, save each and every day at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. JBI long grain or parboiled rice, 5 pounds, $2.89. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounces, $2.39. Whole chickens, $1.99 per pound. Sweet seedless watermelons, $7.99 each. Sweet pineapples, $5.99 each. Whether you're shopping for the week, the day, or stocking up for hurricane season, nobody saves you more than Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, June 11th, and it's time for your Access Weather Forecast, your quick look at what's shaping our weather for the next few days. And looking at our satellite picture, what we're seeing is a band of clouds oriented northwest to southeast across the island chain, which will support 1 or 2 showers in some spots over the next several days. And in the tropics, an area of low pressure is expected to form over the Bay of Campeche, then move northwest. However, the Hurricane Center is giving it a very low chance of development, and elsewhere in the tropics, tropical cyclone development is not expected during the next 7 days. Now, looking at our 3-day boating forecast, in the northwest Bahamas tonight through Saturday, we'll get light and variable winds with seas at 1 to 3 feet, low tides at 11:47 in the evening and again at 11:43 in the morning. In the central and southeast Bahamas, southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots, seas at 2 to 4 feet, so perfect for conditions for those wanting to get out on the water. Now, here's a look at your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Here we move it again. Somebody tell a friend. Oh, come on. Hey, straight on the 339, you know. Watch this. I had this situation that yuck up my fixation, but just listen, there's a why. I was messing with this something, but she was somebody something. She wants to be on the side.
And that was your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance, and that wraps up your Access Weather Forecast. But join me again at 11 for a full weather update. Have a great evening, everyone.
As always, thank you so much, Diane. Now, tonight we shine the light on an issue that local doctors say is becoming an increasing concern among aging populations. And that's the fact that sedentary lifestyles and chronic illnesses are placing more Bahamians at risk of losing their independence later in life.
Yes, data from the Pan American Health Organization's 2024 Bahamas Country Profile warns that obesity and diabetes continue to affect thousands across the nation. Experts say both conditions can significantly impact mobility, balance, and overall quality of life as individuals age. Recent estimates indicate approximately 27,000 adults in the Bahamas are living with diabetes.
Well, that's an incredible figure. We spoke with retired practitioner Dr. Shanna Jagadish, who highlighted the importance of staying active through regular exercise, strength training, and healthy lifestyle choices.
I told you, it really, we eat more than what the body needs, number one. When we eat, we have to burn the food that day. We don't do that. We eat and sit quiet or watch television, watch a movie. So with that, the food sits in the body. If you take, for example, 50% of the people in the Bahamas actually is we call obesity, right? That should be understood and got educated, particularly younger people in the family should always teach the older people and make them small.
Well, if you want to take the doctor's advice and get some movement in, the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center is hosting its annual Push-a-thon on Saturday, July 4th. And nursing officer and president of the Bahamas Diabetic Association, Lindiana Raming, tells us why we should all be there.
We are in dire need of a wheelchair bus. We want to be able, all proceeds will be to assist us in getting that wheelchair bus so we can take our patients back on bus rides and they'll be able to go out on outings and whatever we need to do. So we really looking forward to this year being able to have a wheelchair bus. Because right now, the ambulance, when we have to take our patients for appointments, and We have to wait on the ambulance when they're available to take them to PMH. Everything is on the government to provide. And so financially, it's a lot. So we're trying to help ourselves by doing this annually. So we thank God for the corporate sponsors from Kalina and various sponsors. A little helps. So hopefully, I'm praying for a wheelchair bus this year.
Absolutely. No word to the wise is sufficient. Coming up next, your Thursday Sports Report with Amajal Knowles.
Scotiabank knows your first home is where you finally get to say, "This is me." It's where memories grow inch by inch. It's where hosting creates income and where your home can become a business. Or it's where little feet take their very first step into a future you've worked so hard to build. And we know how important it is to capture those special moments. At Scotiabank, our goal is to help you find a home for your first.
Feel the difference. Ruby's Ultra Tech in your car. Fill up with Ruby's Ultra Tech. Spend less and go far. Fuel up with Ruby's Ultra Tech. Get the most out every ride. Just watch your car perform with the best fuel inside. Fuel up with confidence in every mile. Get Ruby's Ultra Tech in your tank and drive with a smile. Watch your car perform with the best fuel inside. Fuel the difference with Ruby's Ultra Tech.
Welcome to your Thursday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports after a pair of fifth-place finishes over the past 2 seasons. Bayman national record holder in the men's javelin, Keyshawn Strawn, finally finding himself at the podium of the NCAA Outdoor Championships. Strawn, a junior for the University of Nebraska, earning a second-place finish, All-American honors, and taking home the silver medal for his school and the country on Wednesday. It's the first ever medal in the men's javelin competition for the Bahamas at the NCAA Championships. Strawn with a massive throw of 80.65 meters to take home the silver. It was his second throw of 80 or more meters this year and sixth of his career.
The feeling is good, I wanted to get first, but, God had different plans for me yesterday. But I'm happy to go over 80 meters. Yeah, I'm just happy to go over 80 meters. That's all really mattered for me. I could have done, I feel I had a lot more on the tank, but like I say, God had different plans for me yesterday. I'm happy of where I stand right now, just coming off recovery, just coming off injury. Like I say, it really means a lot because I know all the hard work I put into the sport, all the blood, sweat, tears, all of that. Coming top 3 at nationals was, it was special for me, even though I didn't want it. I was happy with my performance.
The other Bahamian in the men's javelin final, Caden Cartwright, a freshman for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, finished 19th overall with a heave of 68.02 meters. Also set to take to the track later this evening is Javanya Valcourt, a senior competing for the Tennessee Volunteers. He's a part of a quartet of Bahamian sprinters set to attempt to lock up a podium spot this weekend in Eugene in the women's 400-meter dash. Valcourt would speak to ZNS sports team about her mindset heading into competition.
I'm really excited since this is my last NCAA event, and I had a really good meet 2 weeks ago, so I feel like I'm at a really good place coming in. I felt like this has been the best season collegiately I've had so far. I felt like everything's finally coming together at the right time. At regionals, I finally got a PR all season. I've been running 50.8, like the same time back to back at SECs, the finals, my opener. And then at regionals, I felt like I had a bit of a breakthrough running 50.5 in the heats and then 50.25 in the finals. So I feel like I'm really ready and hopefully going to break that 50-second barrier this week.
So on track yesterday, the B3A is anticipating a very active next 3 months on the global track and field calendar with a number of events on the horizon, inclusive of the NACAC Under 18 and Under 23 Championships, the CAC, as well as the Commonwealth Games and the inaugural World Athletics Ultimate Championships. Not to be left out as well here on home soil, the B3A's combined junior and senior national championships scheduled for June 19th through the 21st at the original Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. The B3A is holding a press conference yesterday to outline the criteria for several of these teams.
There's an allocated quota of 7 male, 7 female athletes. That too has been a selection process based on regional ranking. Once again, there is no official trial for that event. We would simply be taking our best horses in the race and those that will be available at such time. The Bahamas Olympic Committee has also advised that any athlete selected to represent the Bahamas at the Commonwealth Games will be ineligible to compete at the CAC Games. And so those athletes who would have qualified for both events would be made to choose one or the other. The World Championships, World Junior Championships will take place August 5th to the 9th. And World Athletics has established a qualifying standard. Since we all conform to those standards, the athlete seeking qualification must achieve the required standards within the designated qualifying period, which runs from March 8th to July 26th of 2026.
And we end tonight's sportscast on a somber note as family and friends filled the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium to pay their respects to noted sportsman Robert Andy Ford, who passed away last month. Ford, of course, a sibling of the Ford family, considered amongst sports royalty here in the Bahamas. Ford was a revered softball and baseball player as well as cricketer. Also, at the time of his passing, he was a well-respected employee of the National Sports Authority. Among the persons paying their respects on Wednesday evening will be former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, along with Sports Minister, the Honorable Mario Bolek. Ford's funeral will take place on Saturday at 9 a.m. at the New Covenant Baptist Church, with the interment taking place at Lakeview Memorial. And that's been a look at your sports on this Thursday. I'm Amajal Knowles, signing out until tomorrow.
I tested the Plus plan. I love it. It's an awesome plan. It has a lot of benefits that didn't come with my old plan. So I love the fact that all social medias, I don't have to worry about my usage of time because it's unlimited. I don't have to worry about worrying about data. I don't have to worry about going losing data or having to, I've gone over my data plan, so my bill is going to be higher. I love that. It's affordable for me. And that's what's important right now, especially in today's society. Cost of living is very high, so you got a budget for everything. So this works for me. And you know something else that was fun? The traveling, the no-shock bill. Listen to me, I experienced that before I went away, and when I came back, the bill was, and ever since I started going away, going off. So this, now you can travel, and I can buy a data roaming plan that's affordable for me. That was a plus for me as well. So that, I love that. This plan, I would tell anybody jump on it. If there's another plan that's even better, get on that. But to stay connected, this is it. So I would tell anybody, come on board, check it out. You know, you don't gotta listen to me, try it out for yourself, and you will see what I'm talking about.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here.
Yes, we have it all for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052.
Shop Smart, at Shop Smart, at Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
You're looking at a top shot of the Sadie Curtis Primary School, and it's time now to take a trip to North Andros. Let's go.
An expansion initiative is underway at the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute, BAMSI, in North Andros. Minister of State with oversight for BAMSI, the Honorable Leonardo Lightbourne, disclosed that a new dormitory cluster classroom at the institution has been built and is now operational. He said the new facility is necessary in order to accommodate record-breaking student enrollment numbers.
Our young people are beginning to understand that agriculture and marine science are not second-tier options. They are strategic sectors. They are sectors of innovation. They are sectors of opportunity. They are sectors where Bahamians can lead, own, produce, export, and build generational value. That is the transformation we are working toward.
That's going to do it on Friday Junior right here at Access Now. Thanks so much for watching, as always.
And stay tuned for the rundown on leadership with Ahmad Rashad Thompson.
Good night, everybody.
Alrighty.
So how's your preparation going? By now, you should be completing home repairs since the last storm, updating and replenishing your emergency kit, and paying closer attention to the ZNS networks for earlier than normal developments in the tropics and general storm tracking. Hurricanes don't wait. Why should you? This season, be weather smart, weather safe.
Bahamas. Hurricane season is here. Are you ready? The 2026 Atlantic hurricane season officially runs from June 1st through November 30th. 6 months of staying alert and prepared. Storms are named to help meteorologists, emergency officials, and the public communicate clearly and quickly during dangerous weather events. Hurricanes are also measured using the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale, which ranks storms from categories 1 through 5 based on wind speed and potential damage. And did you know, when a hurricane becomes especially deadly or destructive, its name is permanently retired out of respect for the lives and communities affected. Now is the time to prepare your emergency kit with a portable AM/FM radio. Review your family plans and stay connected to trusted weather information. Preparation today can save lives tomorrow. These are the names of the storms for the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Arthur, Bertha, Cristobal, Dolly, Edward, Faye, Gonzalo, Hannah, Isaias, Josephine, Kyle, Leah, Marco, Nana, Omar, Paulette, Renee, Sally, Teddy, Vicky, and Wilfred. This public service announcement was brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the Disaster Risk Management Authority.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, leaders from all generations, good evening and welcome to the Rundown on Leadership. I am your host, Amadou Shah Thompson, and I am honored, excited, and deeply grateful to be with you tonight. This is the place where leaders come to sharpen their thinking, challenge their assumptions, and become the very best version of themselves. Each week, our mission is straightforward yet impactful: to elevate the leadership conversation locally, regionally, and globally, while preparing you to lead with greater clarity, purpose, and impact. As always, we begin with gratitude. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes, your offices, and your leadership journey. Week after week, you remind us that leadership is more than a title. It is a responsibility, a discipline, and a calling. And because you show up every week, we remain committed to advancing the leadership conversation both locally and globally. We recognize that you could spend your Thursday evenings anywhere, but you choose to run it down with us, and for that, we are truly grateful. So then, let's get it started. Imagine someone hands you the keys to a house you did not build. You didn't pour the foundation. You didn't raise the walls. You weren't in the room for the discussions about where the door should go and what color the wall should be. Other people built that house. People with more years than you, more scars than you, more history than you. And now somehow the keys are in your hand. Let me ask you something. Do you have the right to change anything in that house? That's not a riddle. Right now, all across the world of work, there is a whole generation of young leaders walking into rooms that were built long before they arrived. Boardrooms, classrooms, courtrooms, cabinet rooms, rooms full of people who were leading before these young leaders were ever even born. And every single one of them is wrestling the same quiet, terrifying question. Do I even belong here? And if I do, am I allowed to change anything? But there's a trap, and it's a real trap too. If you lean too far one way, you become exactly what the room already was. You inherit the chair, you change nothing, and a whole generation's fire goes out quietly under the weight of this is how we've always done it. But lean too far the other way, you charge and swing in. You treat everything before you like a mistake, and the room closes ranks and spits you right back out the door you came in. Too cautious and you're invisible. Too aggressive and you're gone. That's the needle every young leader has to thread. And underneath all of that, there's a deeper question that the one no one really wants to sit with. There's an old saying that societies become great when people plant trees whose shade they will never ever sit under, whose fruit they will never taste. So think about it. What if real leadership, real legacy, was never about what you get to enjoy at all? What if the whole point is to build something for people you will never meet? That's heavy, but that is the exact weight every young leader eventually has to decide whether or not to pick up. Because here's what's true. That weight doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't care that you're new. It doesn't care that you're the youngest one in the building. The moment they hand you the keys, the clock starts. And that organization is either going to grow under your leadership or it's going to quietly shrink. There's no pause button. There's no I'll get it together later. Leadership is already happening to that place, whether you're ready for it or not. And let me tell you exactly what's at stake. On one side, you've got institutions full of history, full of wisdom, full of good people slowly dying because nobody new was ever brave enough to breathe fresh life into them. And on the other side, you've got brilliant young leaders full of fire, full of vision, who walked in swinging, got crushed, and walked right back out, convinced they never belonged in the first place. Two different tragedies, both of them happening every single day. And here's the thing, both of them are avoidable. Because every now and then you meet a young or new leader who actually figures it out, who walks into that old room and doesn't shrink and doesn't explode, who finds a way to honor everything that came before them and still has the nerve to add something new to it. And when that happens, something rare breaks loose. The old and the new stop fighting with each other and start building together. And that institution doesn't just survive the next generation, it gets transformed by it. That's the whole game. That's the needle, and learning to thread it might be the single most important thing any young leader ever does. Tonight, I've got someone with me who is standing right on the front edge of all of this. As we speak, he is the youngest person ever appointed to the Senate of the Bahamas, and he is just days into it. He's a scholar who shapes young minds at a university older than he is. He is, in every sense of the phrase, a young leader standing in rooms built long before him. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight is Senator the Honorable Dr. Trevor Johnson. But hear me clearly. Tonight is not about his title, his story, or his story is just the window, rather, because the dynamic he is stepping into is the very same one facing the young teacher, the young manager, the young entrepreneur, the young pastor, anyone who has ever been handed the keys to a house they did not build. So, this is the question we're running all the way down tonight. Can you change what you did not build? This is a conversation every young leader or new leader needs to hear. So go ahead, tag a leader, share this broadcast, invite someone into this conversation, because tonight we are helping young leaders everywhere lead well, steward wisely, and build a legacy, even in a house they did not build. This is the Rundown on Leadership, ladies and gentlemen, and your breakthrough is right after this break.
As we continue to develop the orange economy of the Bahamas and empower our artists and artisans, we as a government intend to show. We are therefore requesting our Bahamian artists and artisans to submit images of their handmade, authentically made Bahamian products and prices as we move to produce a live digital booklet with Bahamian-made works. With the creation of a live booklet, artisans can always submit new works to be included. It is our intent to use this book as a catalog for the purchase of items by all senior government officials for gifts, display items, and the like. Ministers, permanent secretaries, members of parliament, and ambassadors will be supporting our orange economy by the purchase of items and in sharing this book to the wider global creative community. We are committed to grow and expand the orange economy of the Bahamas.
Let's swim Bahamas, bring water hazards to an end.
Let's swim Bahamas. Water safety rule number 8. Around the house, ensure that all rainwater tanks, wells, cesspools have secure covers. Keep bathtubs, paddling pools, and buckets empty when not in use.
Let's swim Bahamas, bring water hazards to an end. Water hazards to an end.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, my guest tonight is Senator the Honorable Dr. Trevor Johnson. He is a scholar, an educator, and now one of the youngest voices ever to be called into our nation's Senate. He shapes the next generation in the classroom, and he's just been handed a seat in a room most people wait a lifetime to enter. He knows better than most exactly what it feels like to be the youngest person at the table. Dr. Johnson, welcome to our show. It's a pleasure to have you here with us to run it down tonight.
Thank you, Ahmad. It's indeed a pleasure to be here to join this timely conversation with you, especially as more young people become interested in politics.
Absolutely, absolutely. Trevor, you're living the very first chapter of this right now, so let's get started. Not with the resume, but with the actual feeling. You're days into being the youngest person ever appointed to our Senate. Tell us, when you walk into that room, right, when that's been built long before you, full of people with decades on you, what is the first walk through that door actually like? Essentially, how are you feeling right now? What's been going on?
So I think the opening of Parliament was my first time, sitting in the Senate. And I think at that very moment it was more so awe, like this is happening right now, but it was also a moment of humbling responsibility because I recognize, what's at stake here, being the youngest person in the room, being the youngest person appointed to the Senate, right? It's definitely an inspiring moment. It's time to really show the my generation, that it's our time to lead. A lot of people have been asking for change, recognizing the need for generational shift in politics. So I think overwhelmingly, it's just more so a humbling responsibility, I feel.
I think that's the premise of our show tonight, the humbling responsibility, the fact that this is not just a title you get to adorn. You don't get to just be in the Hall of the history as the youngest Senate ever to be in our Senate, but the youngest person might have been in the Senate, but the humbling responsibility associated with that title, right? Now, there's a big difference between being given a seat and being given a voice. A young person can be in the room and still not be in the room. So what do you believe actually earns a young leader the right to be heard, not just to be seated?
I think that's a very good question, right? I think a lot of times as young people, we feel as if, and often to be heard, it has to be in volume, meaning how loud we are or how much we speak. But one of the things that I've realized through life and through my experiences working in multiple spheres and circles is more so your credibility. I think if you want to be heard, you have to be perceived as a credible voice. You have to put in the work. You have to always be prepared, you know. I think a lot of times we get confused on what it is really to be heard. And we don't spend enough time focusing on making sure that our voices, our points, our suggestions are credible. Because, you know, that's communications 101. People tend to receive the message of someone they perceive to be credible.
The credibility is important. I say all the time on this show, if you say one thing and do another, you was lie.
No integrity.
That's it. And a lack of integrity bodes poorly for the person who's trying to build credibility. You mentioned, though, that credibility should come from sound content. You should be, no matter when you open your mouth, there should be something sound coming out. What do you think, a lot of young professionals, though, Trevor, say they get read one of two ways when they walk into a room. They either, this is a token position, a token appointment, or they're a threat. Who you think you is? Just a little boy? I'm like, I'm as older than you. How does a young leader navigate that space without having to diminish who he or she is in that moment?
I think that's a very good point, right? Tokenism versus a threat.
Right.
So this is not the first time being the youngest person in the room. At 20 years old, I began my teaching career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
At 24 years old, I was hired as a consultant with a development bank, typically a position given to persons well advanced in their career, right? So this is not a new experience for me, and a lot of times we battle tokenisms and threat, right? Tokenism, one of the things that I've learned across all of my experiences, your work will speak for you. You don't have to do too much. You don't have to do extra, be extra. Just be who you are and let your work speak for you. Now, with respect to being perceived as a threat, right? It's natural, especially when you go into places where persons recognize that there's a time people are wanting a change, especially now in the Bahamas. The appetite for change is immense, right? So seeing someone younger, you may be perceived as a threat, but at the end of the day, it's your character that really helps to diminish this notion of you being a threat, right? Being who you are, being respectful. And our conversation earlier about integrity, saying one thing and actually meaning that, not having a conversation now, going behind closed doors, doing something else, or agreeing to do something and then doing the exact opposite. And lastly, I also think humility. I think humility is one of the most misunderstood terms of our generation. Because when we talk about humility, right, a lot of people believe humility is simply not speaking or being quiet or sitting small until your name is called. That's not humility. Humility is the absence of arrogance and recognize and be open and willing to learn from others. And I think when you combine that in terms of fortifying your character, the notion of becoming a threat diminishes, and then of course tokenism, allowing your work to speak for you.
Indeed. That's your first point of reference to write down tonight. Humility is the absence of arrogance. It is not playing shy, it is not sitting small, it is not acting like you're less than. It's simply operating in a way where you're not threatening the people around you by being conceited, being arrogant, trying to be more than you think you are. It is the absence of arrogance. I love that. When you're the first or the youngest, you're carrying something bigger than yourself. Every step you take makes it a little easier or a little harder for the next generation. Do you feel that way at all over your career, having been the youngest educator, the youngest consultant, or young consultant rather? Do you find that the steps you've taken over the last, let's say, decade of your career, has that made it difficult for you, or has it been more of a purpose-driven mission for you?
So I definitely feel weight, right? I'd be lying to you, tell you if I don't feel weight, but the weight isn't pressure, because I believe that pressure is paralyzing. What I feel now more so is, like you said, purpose. Because purpose is what motivates you, right? And if you stick and you stay whole to your purpose, it makes the journey so much easier, right? One of the things that I enjoy is simply just sharing my story with the hopes of inspiring someone, right? Just today, I had the ability to speak to CV Bethel graduation. 300 young Bahamians graduated from high school, and that's a joy of mine, right? To share my story, to inspire young Bahamians. I mean, even after the graduation, I wanted lunch. Ideally, I wanted to go to Wild Time, but the parking lot was crazy. I didn't bother to go in.
Right.
So I just went to a Chinese restaurant, and lo and behold, I went there. There was actually a family who was at the CB Bethel graduation.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course, I didn't realize, right? But at the cashier, the grandmother brought a grandson who was a graduate, and she just simply thanked me, right? And for me, that is why I do what I do. It's not for recognition. I don't need the titles. I don't need, you know, because I tell people when God calls me home, you only know great one name. That's Trevor, right?
That's it.
But it's just the ability to touch someone. I think Mahalia Jackson, she said it best. If I could just help someone along the way, then my living would not have been in vain.
Absolutely. It is a testament to who you are as a person, whether you are 30 or 90.
Yes.
If you are doing it for the title, if you're doing it for the recognition, if you're doing it for the praise, you're doing it wrong. And so many leaders, whether you are young or old, have taken this reign of leadership and made it about them.
Yes.
As opposed to making it about the people they get the privilege and honor of serving. Now, despite all of that, if a young person typically comes in with fresh energy and new shiny ideas and I want to do this, I want to do this now. But the moment you say maybe we could do this differently, sometimes the people who built it can hear something completely different. They may actually interpret that as, you think what we built is wrong. Who you think you is? Coming in here trying to undo what's been done. How does a young leader offer something new without landing it as an insult?
I think, to be honest, it's the way that you say it. As you mentioned, I work at the University of the Bahamas. I've worked with colleagues who have been at the university as long as I've been alive. So I'm 30, and I've worked with colleagues who've been at the university for 30 plus years, right? They are an institution in and of themselves.
Yes.
One of the things that I've learned, it's not what you say, but how you say it, right? It's and building relationships, right? But one of the things that I always do whenever I go into a new space is relationship building. And it's not just for the sake, right, but getting to know people, getting to understand what they do. And even when you go into an institution, no matter how flawed you may perceive it to be, it's very important to understand that institution, why it works the way it works, what are the issues, what are the strengths, because not because something needs to change means that it's fundamentally weak. There are some strengths. You need to understand the strengths.
Yes.
You need to understand those weaknesses. There are also some opportunities and some threats you need to look at. So you have to take a deep dive in understanding the institution before you go straight ahead and saying what doesn't work from what works, right? Because I could recall several times, you know, when I went into something new, I would say, man, this don't make no sense. But not until sitting down and actually learning, I would say, okay, this actually makes sense. I understand why they do this, right? I understand why this step is so multi-layered, right? So I think you have to really immerse yourself in the context of that institution. And I even take that back to my professional studies, right? In my work, one of the things that we often say is you can't provide any recommendations, you can't do anything without fully understanding the context of a particular nation or country, right? Never forget, I traveled to Ghana. I worked for this international company. And one of the things my supervisor at the time told me is, she said, you need to know Ghana better than the Ghanaians. And you know, at that moment I laughed, right? I thought she said it as a joke, but she's like, I'm serious. And when I went there and I traveled, and I saw how, you know, their whole attitude shifted and changed when they realized that I really took a meaningful and purposeful step to understanding their culture, who they are, the system of governance, you know. And when you do that, people respect you more because then they're more inclined to listen to what you're saying because you understand the context by which they work in.
What Trevor is talking about is a principle that Jesus taught us decades ago, centuries ago, eons ago, that leadership is relational before it can become operational. And people follow and they are prepared to support who they can relate to. Jesus did not meet Peter them saved. They were just like me and you, where we shouldn't be, okay? He went where they were, he understood who they were, and then he said to them, listen, there might be a better way that you may want to explore. And I think that's what Trevor is saying to us now. If you're going to, no matter what you are, no matter what position you find yourself in, no matter what age you are, if you're not trying to build relationships first, you're going to lose in the end. Do you think, is it the idea, Trevor, that has to change, or the way, you mentioned earlier, you said just now that sometimes it's the way you say what needs to be said. What happens though when you've done the work, right? You've built that relationship or you're building it, you know your idea is sound, I mean, this is this sense. In fact, God showed you this vision, but you're meeting resistance at every turn, not because the idea is wrong or because it's flawed, but because who you think that's a real life construct people are facing. What do you think people should do, whether young or old, who are facing that dynamic? So,
interestingly, I faced this issue before. One of the things that I have done and practice is self-reflection, to self-reflect. Like, if I constantly meet an idea that's being, you know, drop down, cut down, chop down, I think the first thing that you need to do is to self-reflect, honestly and truly. Secondly, after that, you need to make sure that whatever argument, whatever idea, whatever case that you're building is heavily grounded in evidence. One thing that someone cannot refute
is data,
is
facts.
evidence, data.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm an academician. I believe in numbers, I believe in data, I believe in what is absolute truth, right? And when you work in certain spaces, once you present evidence, once you present data, that's often very difficult to refute, right? You know, we don't live in an ideal world. Sometimes people, regardless of the data, regardless of what you have there, some people still can chop it down, right? But I think this is where that we talked about relationship building comes in, right? I find it so much easier to get change when I have a relationship with someone. Absolutely. I would never recommend to someone on your first day, on your first week on a job, or in any new position to just go
bulldozing.
Oh, no. Come on. Take time to understand people, build relationships, and then more than likely your idea will be better received. The best, the most powerful ideas can be refuted or can be taken down if they are not presented well.
Absolutely. What has been the single biggest challenge you've faced as a young leader thus far in your career?
Balance.
Talk about that.
I definitely think it's balance, right? You know, I'm a very young man. I have a very active life, right? Both personally, professionally, it's definitely balance, right? My day begins at 4 a.m. Every day. Every day, 4 a.m. I go to the gym. And after that, it's work. After that, it's some activity that I have to do. Like, to just give you an example, right? I've been recently appointed to the Senate. So I am multitasking out of this world. I'm watching Parliament. I'm preparing for my debate. I spoke to CV Bethel graduation today. I speak at Government High on Monday. I have to get ready for Father's Day on the weekend. So it's like multiple things happening, right? And then all of this, right? I have a family who expects to hear from me every day, all 10,000 of them, right? So it's really balanced. I think one of the greatest things I struggle with now is trying to balance. I think I'm getting a bit better now, but it's definitely trying to balance everything that I have going on.
Yes. I think there's a myth, I believe it's a myth, that people have been talking about for decades now, and it's just a work-life balance concept. I think that's a fallacy. I think it's untrue, it's unreal, but there's work-life fit.
Yeah, of course.
And I think if you find what works for you, if you find the rhythm that works for Trevor, or the rhythm that works for Ahmad, and you implement that rhythm, life gets a little less chaotic.
Agreed.
Right? As we go to break, Trevor, what is one thing that keeps you up at night as a young leader?
That's a very good question, right? I think one of the things that I find most concerning, I think, is the issue that we have with our young males. So at the University of the Bahamas, I had a class of 55 last semester. The class had maybe 7 males.
Wow.
Right? One of the things that I've observed is, you know, I meet a lot of young men in their freshman year, and by their second year, you speak to them, they're no longer enrolled at the university, right?
Wow.
Even when I was a high school teacher, at the 7th grade, I'd have students performing exceptionally well. By the time they reach 10th grade, they're almost unrecognizable, young males. I think we really have to take a serious and a focused approach to how we help our young men, right, in society, because it's concerning. It's concerning to see, especially at the University of the Bahamas. I mean, 25% of the university's population is males.
Wow.
We need to see how we can get...
25%.
Exactly. It is low.
Wow.
So we need to see how we can get our younger males, you know, more focused, more involved. You know, quite often, every time I speak to a guidance counselor or principal, they want me to speak to their male students, right? And, you know, this is not an issue that I'm sitting idly by and twiddling my thumbs on, right? I take it very seriously. Like, in my fraternity, I mentor our undergraduate chapter, I'm the advisor. And we even have a youth mentorship arm called the Sigma Beta Club, where we mentor young males in high school, because this is an issue I'm very passionate about. How can we ensure that our young men are successful at every opportunity possible, even if the fathers are absent at home?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, we're just getting started, but I'm sure you can tell that we're going to have a good one tonight. There is more with Senator the Honorable Dr. Trevor Johnson when we come back. Stay close to your breakthrough continues after this break.
So how's your preparation going? By now, you should be completing home repairs since the last storm, updating and replenishing your emergency kit, and paying closer attention to the ZNS networks for earlier than normal developments in the tropics and general storm tracking. Hurricanes don't wait. Why should you? This season, be weather smart, weather safe.
cousin of mine who was the leader of one of the biggest gangs in this country during the early 90s. The gang that he was a part of tried to recruit all of us. If you're not strong, you can fall prey to that environment. I did not join because I was kept involved in positive activities. I saw what worked, what didn't work, and I just was able to utilize all of the gifts and talents over the years to impact young persons' lives throughout our nation. I realized every single individual has the freedom to choose. But if you choose light, these are the benefits. If you choose darkness, these are the results of your choice. I've seen music bring young persons from gangs through a trumpet, through a clarinet, through a drum, all because of the power of music. Conflict will come, circumstances will come. We just have to be consistent, dedicated, and committed with our young persons. Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
Just joining us, my guest tonight is Senator the Honorable Dr. Trevor Johnson, and tonight we are answering an important question. Can you change what you did not build? Trevor, every established organization has its version of this is the way we've always done it. An 8-word, in my opinion, cancel. When a young leader hits that wall, do they push, do they wait, or do they find a way around it? How are they supposed to know which one the moment is calling for?
Good question, Ahmad. I think that there are definitely moments to push. There are moments to wait, and there are moments where you just have to find another path around. One of the things that I have learned is that you have to distinguish the difference between urgency and impatience. So I'll be honest, one of the things that I've been working on is my patience. Anybody who know me know that Trevor has to work on his patience, right? And there are things that require urgency, you know, that they require urgent attention. And there are also times when it's just purely your impatience. One of the things that I learned, especially in my work in disaster management, is you have to wait until the salience is high. Because, for example, right, most times when we see legislative and policy changes in the realm of disaster management and sustainable development is after disaster. Governments go on a spending spree. They tend to make a lot of legislative changes, right? So that is a time when policymakers and disaster management practitioners usually advocate for the most change because the salience is very high. And that's one of the things that I've learned. You have to wait for the right moment, wait for timing, because only when the salience is high and the appetite is there, then you should know when it's to push or, you know, what to wait for. Right, but wait on that salience.
Right, now, that lesson of patience is important because I remember I had a leader one time, I said it often on the show, who said to me that my ambition was going to cost me. And Trevor, miss, you jealous. You are my, first of all, my grandma reminded me that she is where you're trying to go. There's no need for her to be jealous of where you are right now. She's advising you that there's power in the process, power in the journey, power in the wait, in that waiting period, right? Because maybe there's a lesson to learn, maybe there's some additional data and facts to garner, maybe there's some polishing of your, even of your construct of your idea. But I found it challenging initially because how can ambition, a good thing, cost me a bad thing, right? But I understood then, and I now understand even more now, that sometimes you let the ambition drive us to the wrong edge. We go too fast and we lose momentum in any event, right? But pushing to change something from the inside almost always has a cost, as I just said, right? A relationship, some popularity, a door that quietly closes, etc. Should a young leader be willing to pay that price? And then how do they tell the difference between dying on a hill and actually not dying on, like pushing forward nonetheless? You talk about the lesson and the patience, but once I move, once I've gotten the salient moment, once I've gotten to the point where it's time to go, what if my idea still isn't received or it's just like, that's stupid, nobody into that? How does a person navigate that still?
I think, you know, sometimes yes, you have to be prepared to die on the hill, right? But only if it's for the right thing, right? You don't die on a hill for something.
Jesus thing.
No, because then you're going to just come across as stubborn and very inflexible. There are certain things, especially if you feel strongly about, you're very convicted, you're very passionate about it. I will die on a hill for certain things, right? And I've done that, you know, in terms of even at my work, how I deal with my students now at university, there are certain hills I am prepared to die on and stay on, right? Because that is what I fundamentally believe in. Like, for example, I give a deadline. meet my deadline. Of course, I'm flexible. I understand.
Life happens and things happen.
You know, but you ain't gonna, every now and then you want to bring it this, here, there, and everywhere. No. Even in terms of how I operate with my undergraduates in my fraternity, they can tell you I am very strict about time. I'm very strict about deadlines because those are things that I fundamentally believe in, right? And because I think ultimately that shows how you respect someone, how you respect their time. So I definitely believe that there's certain things you should be willing, you know, to stand firm and hold on to. And there are other times when you have to really think about, is it really worth it? But if it's taking you down the wrong direction, then yeah, I agree.
Trevor, right now there is an older leader who is listening to us, and something in them is starting to do. They're getting a little convicted, but they're having a hard time addressing, connecting with, building that relationship with that younger leader who they recognize promise in. But for some reason, they receive that promise as a threat. They are receiving that promise as this person trying to get my job. What do you tell that older leader who is still valuable? They ain't old, they're just older, right? So you 30, but they 59, right? And they have good sense, good stamina, good wisdom. They move a little bit slower than you. They take a little bit longer to catch on to a concept, and they don't really quite understand the AI thing like you do. How does that leader build a relationship backwards to that younger person and not be living in the threat that, boy, this lady or this young man is almost too sharp for this?
They're too good.
How do you help them?
You know, I think that's a very good question. You know, I think it goes back to the point of, you know, relationship building, and also almost flipping the script. Take me on as a mentor. You know, guide me. You know, that's what I recommend to tell people when they're working with someone who may be perceiving them as a threat, or they're having issues, especially with their bosses or supervisors, or even an organization. Often ask them, you know, take me on as a mentor, guide me. And of course, the ultimate goal of leadership is not winning or being lasting the longest. It's about moving towards a common goal. If your goal and my goal is the same place, we want to have the similar outcome, then the only thing I'm doing is pushing through your legacy. You know, I'm helping to push along the goal of the institution or the organization, and I'm also moving through legacy. You know, and I think if you approach it from that direction and try to garner that support from that view, then you may be able to balance that relationship.
There's this idea, Trevor, that because someone may be younger or newer to an organization, they have to earn the right to challenge, right? That before anyone lets you change the rules, you have to first prove that you actually understand them. You mentioned earlier understanding the context of where you work, the culture of where you work, and what you're doing. Is that fair? Do you think that because you may recognize on day one, this is wrong, this is not ideal, this is not the best way to do this? Do you find that you have the right to challenge in that moment, or do you wait until you've learned more before you start to raise concern?
I definitely think you should still wait, right? I see value in understanding where you are going, or where you are, the new institution that you're in, the organization you're in. I definitely see value in understanding it before you move forward with any ideas or recommendations, right? Because and as someone who's been there before, who has went into institutions, went into organizations, and you know, who've disagreed with the ways of doing stuff, right? This makes no sense. I could do this faster this way. You know, I could do this in one day. You want me to be on this for a whole week, right?
Come on.
But it's not until you go through the process and you realize that there's a method to the madness. So even still, now, I'm not telling you to do the wrong thing. If you see 1 + 1 is 3, and you know it's 3,
come on.
That's very different from just perceiving something as, you know, it could be done better, it can be done quicker, there's a faster way, but understanding how it should be done, or how that institution does it, that organization does it, before you go to make any massive changes, right? Build relationships with the persons first, to understand them before you begin to talk about change. People are resistant to change.
Absolutely, 100%.
All of us. Whether we want to accept it or not, we don't like change. It's uncomfortable. People have whole change management processes because humans fundamentally do not like change, right? So I think it's very important that we recognize that firstly, and then take the necessary and appropriate steps before we begin to move on this process of change.
One of the things I tell my clients all the time, especially young people who are working towards towards senior leadership is that you need a board of directors.
Yeah.
I call it a board of directors. Your sponsors in the organization who can advocate for, and even some who can't stand you, but who recognize your value nonetheless, right? You have people at your level who can advocate for you at your level, right? The junior level that you may be operating on, or even the senior level at a young age. You then have people who lead you, your leadership, your leaders' tier of leadership, who maybe not your leader in some cases, but maybe their colleagues that can say, listen, man, Trevor's a sharp guy and making good sense. And then you need someone at that executive level, and one of them must be someone that does not necessarily favor you, but can recognize the value you bring. What have you found, where have you found success in that strategy as a young leader entering these institutionalized organizations? Has that made sense for you, or have you found it to be not so beneficial?
Definitely. I definitely see value, we call them yes men, right? People love to be surrounded by yes men, but I don't mind opposition every now and then, because when you get opposition, right, it helps to stretch and pull you in a different direction, right? There are some people who are fundamentally always going to question and challenge, and I think you need those persons around you because they're going to give you the other side of the coin that you may have not considered, right? No one knows everything. None of us will always be right. And it's very important that we recognize that, and also recognize the need to having people there who are going to challenge us, right? Especially in politics, right? We need to be surrounded by people who are going to challenge us and press us behind closed doors and issues, because when you go to the Bahamian people, trust me, they are
easy.
The things that I've seen, I would say, man, it's a good idea. But when you present it to the public, they would. Listen, so it's best to get that done behind closed doors, get challenged, get mashed up, really iron out details and kinks before you present it to the public, because the Bahamian people will do it.
Absolutely. What do you think is one thing that older generations are getting wrong and younger generations are getting wrong right now in the way of leadership?
I think both old and younger generations, I still think there's too much ego in leadership. Arrogance in leadership, just generally across older and younger people, right? And I think Bahamians are tired and fed up of it. The Bahamian people, if we have not seen the trend in 2021, 2026, in terms of voter apathy, limited voter participation, that is a clear sign, right? And one of the things that Bahamians often decry about is the arrogance of leaders, right? And I think the older generation and also the younger generation, we have to remember to put our egos to the side and more embrace a spirit of humility in service to the Bahamian people, because they're tired of it. And it's deeply concerning, right? I work with young people every day, right? Like, I'm not young. Between the ages of 18 to 21 on average on a daily basis. And their level of disengagement is often it's concerning to me, right? Because when I was their age, listen, I was so I would watch Parliament between classes at university. That's how locked in I was, right? But I don't see that level of engagement now with young people, and I think it's generally because we're looking for a different type of leaders. We're looking for the leaders of Hubert Ingram. We're looking for the likes of Lyndon Pinland. We're tired of what we're seeing, right? And the more that we continue to, just go on as normal or do what's always been done, the more Bahamians are going to become disengaged in the voter process.
Listen, our conversation is poignant tonight because we're talking about the dynamic between being a young leader in an institutionalized organization. When you are the youngest in the room, the newest to the table, how do you affect change? Can you actually build what you did, can you actually change, what you did not build? As we continue our conversation, we're going to go deeper on this journey of young leadership. I want you to stay close. Your breakthrough continues after this break.
Behind every strong economy is a bold entrepreneur, and we're here to support them, island by island. On Long Island, we've helped 77 entrepreneurs turn their dreams into thriving businesses. Through over $1.9 million in approved funding, the SBDC is strengthening Long Island's economy by investing in its leading sectors: fishing, transportation, and agriculture. No matter the island, every business we support strengthens the economy, starting with yours. SBDC, Bahamas.
I don't know, but there's all kind of cars in this parking lot. You ain't even know where to park. Yeah, just don't park in the, look at this way. Like, you ain't got nowhere to go. Don't park him. Just don't park in the handicap spot. Yeah, that's handicap. No, man, you can't park in the handicap spot. I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long. Handicap spot, boy, what's going on, dog? I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way parking, man. I tell you we shouldn't park here. Don't get one of these things. My bad, big bro. And he got a sticker inside that say this model. We gotta move. This is handicap spot. That's what we gotta move. But we gotta move. Don't. We can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, you are late. Where you been? But our guest tonight is Senator the Honorable Dr. Trevor Johnson, and tonight we are answering a very important question. Can you change what you did not build? Trevor, I'm going to ask you straight. Can you change what you didn't build? Do you have the right to do that? Do you have any authority to come in here and undo what's been done? Or further what's been done?
So I don't think the question is, can you change, what you... I do agree with the question, like, can you change what you've built? But I don't think the issue is whether you built it, but I think the issue is whether you understand it, right? I think this goes back to my point of earlier understanding context, understanding background, because we've seen systems evolve over time. I think when I think of some of the oldest institutions, I think of the monarchy, right? The monarch has changed. There were days when, the queen wouldn't have been there seen with ordinary folk, right? Now to the point where people can tour Buckingham Palace. So institutions have changed over time. Our parliament have changed. Our rules, our laws, our regulations, they've changed, right? They're not meant to be stagnant. If something is not changing, then it's stagnant. But I think what is most important before you try to change an institution or try to change an organization is that you understand it. You understand everything about it. You take the time to learn it before you go about changing, right? Because we're inheriting this, right? Our country, the Bahamas, this is our inheritance. Absolutely. When it moves from one leader to the next, we're inheriting this generation. And I would hope that when leadership shift hands, there are some changes.
Absolutely.
But those changes can only be made after understanding what exists.
The context is important, y'all. You can't just come in bulldozing and carrying on bad, expecting to have that change be sustained. Because when there's a change, as you mentioned earlier, it's always difficult. In most cases, you never decided it. You didn't choose to change. You had to change because of some force of external means. And when you understand that the context does matter, the way in which you're operating does matter, the culture that you're operating in and walking into does matter. It doesn't mean you can't change it. It simply means before you start to unravel it, do you first understand it? You can only change what you understand, and people only fail what they don't understand. And so when you are misunderstanding or misunderstood, that's where that trepidation and fear and whatnot comes in. But I want to challenge a trap a lot of young people, a lot of young leaders, fall into. Either they abandon the foundation or they try to go bulldozing straight into innovation. How do you manage both? You talked about it almost the entire episode. It's kind of been our common thread. But how does a leader learn the patience, build the relationships, honor the foundation, push ahead, manage their innovation and their creativity, and still be effective as a leader? Because no matter what, you have a job to do. We still hired you to do something. Get to work. How do you navigate and manage all of this and still be effective in your role as a leader?
I think that's a good question about how do you stay true to your foundation, but at the same time being willing to evolve, right? When I think of a tree, right? A tree's root, that doesn't go away. It may lose its leaves, it may change fruits with seasons, right? But the foundation in and of itself must stay the same or must remain strong, right? Even though you may evolve with practices. I think a very easy or simple example with this is my teaching style, right? I believe that we learn through engaging and interacting, right? The way I teach, when I taught at high school, 8 Mile High School, was fundamentally different from how I teach at the University of the Bahamas through engaging. My philosophy is still that we learn through collaboration. That is my teaching philosophy, right? But when I do that for my 100 level class, it's very different from what I do for my 400 level class. When I taught in the United States versus when I teach home in the Bahamas, it's very different, right? You know, Bahamians, we love humor. We love to laugh.
Kiki.
Listen, when I went to school, when I taught in the US, I taught in a predominantly white state. They didn't get half of my jokes, right? So you know, but my philosophy remained the same. Right. We learn through collaboration, we learn through doing, but what happens is regardless of whatever situation or context, my practices evolve. And I think that's the same thing with leadership, right? Whatever you value, whatever you believe in, what is true to your foundation, true to your very core, keep that.
Indeed.
When you move through various scenes of life, you're going to have to evolve some of those practices.
The message here is evolution. If you are afraid to evolve, you're afraid to lead. That's the bottom line. And if you're not making this thing better, that doesn't mean outright undoing what's been done. No. It simply means after it leaves your hands, after you've had a chance to sit with this, to be in this, to steward over this, is this any better off before you had it? I put it to my clients this way. As a leader, when you show up, what goes well? As a leader, when you show up, what goes to hell? Both of them are in your absolute control. You get to determine what will the landscape be once I am done with this space. And you referenced this, the metaphor of the tree, right? And there's an old idea that I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, that society grows great when people plant trees whose shade they will never sit in. How does a leader of 30 years old, 24 years old, 25 years old, even start with that mindset? How do I think about 90 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, the tree that somebody else will sit under? How do you do that and still innovate and create and lead well at the same time?
You know, that goes to this point that leadership is not about me. Leadership is not about self, it's about legacy. It's about creating something for the next generation. When I think about that, I think of men like Cecil Wallace Whitfield, who founded the Free National Movement in 1971, right? Cecil Wallace Whitfield never benefited from being the Prime Minister of this country.
Wow.
But instead, men like Hubert Ingram, Right Honorable Hubert Ingram, the Honorable Hubert Minnis, and men like Tommy Turnquest and Michael Pintard, right? They were able to enjoy government at some time, but unfortunately Cecil Wallace Whitfield did not get to enjoy that, right? But what happened was his legacy was left behind. And that, you know, that is the reality. When you go into leadership, especially when you go into frontline politics at this level in the Bahamas, nothing is certain, nothing is, you know, sure. That's why your motives need to always be altruistic. They always need to be pure, and they always need to be about service to people. Because if you do that every day, whether you are in government, whether you're in opposition, whether you win or you lose, you're going to enjoy what you're doing because you're staying true to who you are and the very core as to why you're doing something.
Do you think aspiration is selfish?
No, I don't think aspiration is selfish, right? But I think ambition without patience is motion without direction.
Come on.
I think that's the problem. I think there's nothing wrong.
Write that down. That's a good one.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being aspirational, saying I want to aspire, because I did it, right? But I think the issue is when you're ambitious, you have no patience, you're moving, but you don't know which direction you're moving in, right? So I think that's the issue. As soon as you get into something, you don't even know the first thing about the institution. I want to be president. I want to be leader. I mean, and I'm not saying that to be pessimistic or to discourage young people, but take your time. Learn the institution, understand the processes, understand the values, build relationships before you go and dive headfirst.
I think, because the point of my question and the point to Trevor's response is not that the aspiration itself is wrong. No. It's the fact that if you're going to aspire to be that president one day, do the work to get there. John Maxwell always says, many people want what you have, but they don't want to do what you did to get there. And I feel that there's value in getting there. I've learned over my years in consulting and business and even in corporate Bahamas that the journey is really the testament to your sustainability as a leader. If you have gotten there too quickly, you will not stay there very long. You can leave even quicker than that. Who or what, Trevor, has shaped your leadership philosophy? You're 30 years old. You are in positions that many people will never, ever ascend to. You are in organizations that have been around for literally longer than you've been alive, sometimes even twice your age. What or who has shaped the way you think about leadership and then carry out your leadership philosophy?
I think it's two sides to this coin, right? I want to talk about who shaped me as a person. The man that you see, the character that you see, it would definitely be my maternal grandmother, the late Reverend Elva Louise Parker Rule.
Come on.
I mean, I think if she was alive today, she would have had the broadest rim hat to open the parliament, right? I think she is solely responsible. She's a lot responsible for the type of man that I am today, right? In terms of raising me with certain values and beliefs. So that is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, in terms of someone who I've always looked up to, be the Right Honorable Hubert Ingram, right? I always laugh when I come to ZNS because I have a colleague, Ashley Whitney. We went to UB around the same time. And when we were at UB, they would always call me Lil Hubie, right? Because I admired him so much, right? So I think it's definitely a mix of that. I think who I am as a person is definitely because of my maternal grandmother. In terms of my leadership philosophy, what I believe, definitely be the former Prime Minister. And I'm also very interested in the work of Margaret Thatcher, the first female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. I think she was an extraordinary woman. Either you love her or you hate her. You know, like the divide is very strong. But I definitely think she was a strong. I read several books about her philosophy, what she stood for and how she transformed the United Kingdom. I think she was a powerful woman. And history has been with mixed water. But I think if we take time to understand her. She was a very strong leader.
Understood. You mentioned your grandmother. My grandmother passed away on election day, believe it or not.
Wow, my condolences.
Thank you so much. And Grammys are special. The good ones, oh Lord, hold on to them for as long as you can. But she was 90 years old when she passed away, and the thing she taught me was always to behave myself. As simple as that advice was to me, it was as profound as anything else you would ever hear. Because if you're well behaved, nobody can't do you nothing. I'm mad. You just behave yourself and you walk on the right side of the road, everything is working for you. Just say your prayers and do the right thing. And I found in my career, and as I take on these clients that are these big time leaders, there are people who are not doing the right thing, who are leading as fundamentally unwell as you could imagine. And you have to find the people in your life who are shaping you to be better than you were before you met them, even if they're younger than you, even if they're older than you, right? But whose mistakes are you learning from, Trevor?
Oh, I definitely hope I learned from my mistakes, right? But I think there are a lot of mistakes of leaders in history who have not made the best decision. Right here in Bahamian politics. We could go back to May 12, 2026. There's a lot of lessons that can be learned for some leaders who allowed ego to consume their greater good, right? Even we go back in history, we look at other leaders throughout time on both sides of the divide, the Free National Movement and the Progressive Liberal Party, in terms of stories and instances that we can learn from, right? So I'm not only learning from my own mistakes, but also learning at some mistakes of the past.
Indeed.
And indeed, like who I mentioned earlier, the one Margaret Thatcher, right? You know, she was a very strong leader, very, you know, and I think what emboldened her was the fact that she never lost in terms of becoming Prime Minister. She always won the election and came out as Prime Minister. And I think that emboldened her, and to a certain extent that she lost the ability to listen to the voice of others, right? And I think that is also one thing that I realize with a lot of leaders is that because we're powerful, you know, or because we constantly win, we sometimes forget the importance of still listening to others.
Those around you,
absolutely. You know, power, I remember I was speaking to a colleague and they said, power is like a drug. And once you get it, the more and more of it you get, the more and more of it you want, and the less inclined you are to listen to others.
Absolutely.
And you know, one of the things that I always ask for, and especially God, is for humility and the ability to always keep touch with people, right? Because I will never always know everything. And there's always going to be a need to have people who are going to stretch and pull you in different directions.
And challenge you too. I think you need a challenger around you every now and again. You mentioned earlier in our conversation on having those persons who will oppose you for the right reasons, who will challenge you to think differently about this perspective and maybe see it from a different viewpoint. Trevor, there's a young person right now who's watching this show, right? Sitting in an organization older than they are, feeling unseen, wondering if their ideas will ever matter. What is the one thing that you need that person to understand right now?
I think for someone who may feel unseen, not because you're unseen means that you're not important, right? Because you can still work without the recognition. You can still work without the title. Just keep working, so keep doing what you're doing, and eventually your day to reap the harvest will come, right? You know, mine came, and I hope it's going to continue to come, right? But just continue to trust the process, continue to go through what you're going through, and recognize that not because you're being called out or recognized at this time means that your value has been diminished. Because you still have value to the institution, you still have value to the organization, and just continue to work.
Absolutely. I want to do something different before we leave. I'm going to do a rapid fire session with you. You do not know these questions. I'm going to ask you them nonetheless. One word for the moment you found out you've been appointed to the Senate.
Wow.
Wow. A tradition worth keeping and a tradition worth retiring.
A tradition worth keeping. I think the opening of Parliament, I like the pomp and pageantry of it. I think let's retire the wigs.
Okay. White grits or yellow grits?
Yellow grits.
Okay. Finish your sentence. The next generation of Bahamian leaders needs to stop and start what?
Repeat it, sorry.
The next generation of Bahamian leaders needs to stop blank and start blank.
I can't say what I want to say, right?
Say that.
No.
Don't make me share.
I think the next generation of Bahamian leaders need to stop. It's a very good question. Very good question. I think we need to stop necessarily always looking to the past and more so forge forward to the future. Like not be afraid to be innovative and creative.
Okay. So stop looking at the past, look more to the future. Is that the start?
Yeah. Like when I said stop looking to the past, I mean let's not
dwell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move forward and let's focus on how we can be more innovative and creative.
This is important, Trevor. Who in the morning, Trevor? Who in the morning? Say the right thing for Trevor.
I have a free port to Majestic Crusaders. You want?
But who? Let's make them all the way to ZNS. God bless you. I'm sorry about that. If you could sit across from yourself at 22, what's one sentence of advice you would have given yourself? You would give yourself.
At 22?
Keep pushing. 30 now, 22 then, keep pushing.
Keep pushing.
Okay, this is the most important question I will ask you all evening. How do you spell boy?
B-U-I. Proud Grand Bahamian.
Manchester spicy, B-U-I, absolute rubbish. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a powerful, thought-provoking conversation this evening. Tonight, we answered an important question. Can you change what you did not build? And here's what I believe we landed on tonight. The answer is yes, but not the way most young leaders think. You don't earn the right to change an institution by proving the people before you were wrong. You earn it by proving you understood what they were right about. By honoring the why underneath the what. Because every tradition you attempted to tear down was once an innovation that somebody fought tirelessly for. The stalwart was once the rebel in the room. The statesman was once the youngest one at the table. You are not the first disruption this house has survived. You may just be what it was waiting for. The foundation and the future were never meant to be enemies. A foundation that refuses to carry anything new is just a monument. An innovation with nothing underneath it is just noise. Real leadership is the bridge between the two, the humility to honor what you were handed and the courage to add something to it before you pass it on. But let me leave you with the hardest part. The part that separates a leader from a legacy. The ego-driven leader asks, what can I build that I get to enjoy? The great leader asks completely different questions. What can I plant that someone else will get to enjoy long after I am gone? Because that right there is what legacy actually is. Legacy is planting a tree whose shade you will never sit in, whose fruit you may never taste. It is doing the work, fighting the fight, and laying the brick for a harvest that belongs to a generation you may never, ever meet. And don't you ever forget, the people who built the house you just walked into, they planted trees for you that you've been eating fruit from that you get to sit under now, sitting in a shade you did not earn. Someone built that room before you ever held the key. So here's the charge. Don't just inherit the house. Don't just renovate it for yourself either. Build the next room. Pour a foundation for someone whose name you will never know. And then plant a tree knowing full well you may never sit in its shade. And trust that one day a young leader is going to walk through a door that you built, pick up the keys you left behind, and finally understand what you were doing all along. You didn't build the house, but you were handed the keys for a reason. So go forth and plant a tree. Someone planted one for you. I invite you to join Carvel Pyfrom for the Bahamas tonight at 11 p.m., where we have the final broadcast on all things happening in news. This is Amada Shaw Thompson for the Rundown on Leadership. Trevor, thank you again for joining me tonight. Until next time, everyone, until the Lord delays his calling, we will see you next week, Thursday. Gospel Life. Take care.
My name is Omar Ferguson. I've been disabled now from 2009. What inspired me to start my own business? It was the determination to know that I still had something left in me Even though a lot of my independence, my mobility was being restricted. And my disability, it's kind of hard finding the investors or the capital. For example, national insurance. The benefit that we receive, it's a lifeline. And at any business that you're going to take, it's going to be a